like come to MMD. Oh, we gotta send him the link.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, there you go.
Now we're good to go and ready to rock. All right, what's going on, man?
Hello.
How you doing,
Yeah,
my
it's
brother? My fellow brother Ancap.
Okay. I just joined this server. What do you modern day debate? Where does this go? Where would I put this?
Well, I
So you
didn't join
just
the
joined
other
it?
Discord because I don't have the ability to make a room.
Oh, you
Oh,
the
you don't
politics
know.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the politics requires uh phone verification and all the other shit that I just didn't want to bother with.
Yeah.
I've never joined
Levels
that
in
server.
there.
I did join it, but like I couldn't join voice rooms, so it's like a
And you can't even change the name of the room.
yeah.
I think he can.
I don't know how.
It's yeah. I've changed the name of rooms before, but yeah, you just do it through commands and chat.
You can do it. I think you can right click or something to the room name, and if you own it, then I think you can make changes.
Yeah.
Hello, Razzle. I don't think I've met you before.
I'm just listening in, bro. Do your thing.
Got you.
What do you mean? Do our thing?
Do our
What do you
thing.
think we do here?
Yeah, bro. We're here to debate.
Are we?
Oh yeah, it's called debate Ancaps. Well, not each other, but other people. Because we're already on the same side, you know.
Are we though? Are we truly on the same side?
I mean, I would hope so. We're all Ancaps, right?
Famous
Well, I mean,
last.
depends. I just don't like the fucking leftist parties and the
Yo, what's up,
there.
Cam?
Hey,
Hi.
Hey, Cam.
who's is this guy in here? Like, has he said anything, or this muted guy?
No, he doesn't want to debate. He just wants to listen. Oh, that's what he
Okay.
said.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. We need other people to join in. Now there's 4 of us in here. Yeah, we are some master debaters, guys. Any person that
I
comes in
don't
here is
feel
gonna
like
get
debating.
destroyed.
I just want to chill.
We are gonna destroy.
Yo, I mean,
What a
for-
destroy.
Yeah, but bro,
For
you
wanna
joined
chill.
you joined the master debaters group.
Yeah, but like I was doing that stuff like yesterday and the day before. Give me a break, my dude. Gosh, it's exhausting.
No breaks.
Some people, yeah.
Like there's only so many times you can explain argumentation ethics to a person. Like my gosh.
Yeah. It shouldn't even be that difficult to understand.
There's only so much you can do.
There's a- my gosh.
I
Oh,
feel
there's
like
someone else also.
argumentation ethics is kind of complicated.
Nah.
I mean, well, can you argue that you're not arguing right now?
No,
Pretty much.
Yeah,
because
that's it.
that would be like a contradictory.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it'd be a
performative.
performative contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just the same, right? Like to argue, right? You're just recognizing a particular set of ethics that you have to recognize to argue. All right, and what are those ethics? Well, you know, you got on the libertarian, like there's a whole
I get
wide
the
range
argument.
of things that I need to read about, right?
But
like with the
ChatGPT says it's wrong,
pretty
so
much
I don't know.
What do you mean ChatGPT says it's wrong?
Because I asked ChatGPT if argumentations is like ethics is right, and then it said no.
Well,
And then it gave me arguments as
ChatGPT
to
is
why it's
wrong.
wrong,
Wait, what did it have-
know,
what did it have to
and I don't
say?
know the arguments against the arguments that it gave. So
What did it
what am I gonna
say?
do? Oh, for me to do that, I would have to like pull it up and shit.
Well, kind of curious.
Let me. Okay, give me
Go
one
on.
sec. Let's see the NAP. Would putting a house? No, that's not it. Would plucking a person's hair? No.
That's all like.
How would guardianship work? Drop the act. What do you think? I always tell it to drop the act and tell me what it thinks, because it'll tell you what you want to hear at first, but if you tell it to drop the act, it'll tell you what it thinks.
Right.
It doesn't think.
I mean,
It
it
just compiles.
depends on how you define think.
Okay, so basically, my friend said there's no gap on what the grocery list implies, what you should get, what rationale is incommerciable with what is evasion, and then it's just like, I asked it like, is there anything wrong with this argument? It trades the is ought for why. Okay, so maybe I should ask it again. So like, maybe we should start it up. All right, how about this?
Wait, what
Trash.
exactly was the prompt that you gave?
There was it was somewhere. I don't know if it's in here, but I'm gonna make a new one. How about that? Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna give me. So what we're gonna do, as opposed to debating each other, I'm gonna have you tell me the arguments for it, and I want you to try to convince ChatGPT that you're right. Okay? You think you guys can do that? All right, let's do it. Use voice mode. Hey, ChatGPT. What do you think about argumentation ethics?
Argumentation ethics is a pretty interesting concept, especially if you're familiar with the work of Hans Hermann Hoppe. The basic idea is that
I'm gonna share my screen.
Right.
Sure, go ahead and share it whenever you're ready. Let me know what you want me to take a look.
Okay, so what do you think about argumentation ethics? Does it prove that the NAP is true? So you guys can see what it says and listen to what it says.
Mm-hmm.
Let's click on that. All right. I'm gonna wait until it's finished and have it read it, as opposed to me. Okay. Read aloud.
Argumentation ethics, AE, as formulated by Hans Hermann Hoppe, is a bold and unique attempt to ground libertarian ethics, especially the non-aggression principle, NAP, in a rationalist praxeological
KingSithis
framework.
would you like many
Here's a
viewers.
breakdown of what it claims, and the strengths and weaknesses in the eyes of both proponents and critics. What is argumentation ethics? Hoppe's core claim is this. Open quote, anyone who engages in argumentation must accept the normative principle of non-aggression, because denying it would involve a performative contradiction. Close quote. This is based on the idea that argumentation is a peaceful, rational activity aimed at resolving disputes without coercion. In order to argue, both parties must recognize each other's self-ownership, because arguing involves allowing another person to speak and use their body and property, e.g., their voice, time, and space, freely. Therefore, to argue against libertarian self-ownership, or the NAP, is self-defeating because you're using a peaceful, property-respecting activity to deny the legitimacy of peace and property rights. Hoppe frames this as a kind of a priori rationalist proof. If you try to argue that aggression is justifiable, you're contradicting yourself because the act of arguing presupposes non-aggression. Hasher, what it claims to prove. Hoppe says it proves the truth of the NAP as a normative foundation. If valid, this would mean libertarian rights are rationally undeniable. Anyone trying to argue against libertarianism is implicitly affirming it. The NAP is not just a moral preference. It is rationally necessary for argumentation and discourse. Strengths of the argument. 1. Praxeological consistency. It's a novel extension of Misesian praxeology, applying action-based reasoning to ethics. 2. Performative contradiction. This idea is compelling to some. If you argue for X while your act of arguing presupposes not X, you've contradicted yourself in action. 3. Non-circularity. Hoppe tries to avoid saying the NAP is good because I value it. Instead, he says the NAP must be presupposed by anyone who tries to deny it. 4. Deontological rigor. It aims to give a rationalist grounding for libertarian ethics, something not even Rothbard formally did. Common criticisms.
Turtle World of Warcraft.
1. Category error. Critics like Michael Huemer and David Friedman argue that AE smuggles in normative claims via descriptive facts about argumentation. That is, just because argumentation requires a certain behavior doesn't mean that behavior is universally morally binding. 2. Not universalizable. Just because you must respect someone's body during argument doesn't mean you must do so outside of argument. A thief might grant you bodily autonomy while talking, but still plan to rob you later. 3. Scope problem. Argumentation is a specific context. Why should norms implicit
Turtle
in
World
that
of Warcraft
context
is a
govern all
private
human
server.
Interaction? 4. Doesn't reach full NAP. Even if AE gets you to some recognition of self-ownership, critics argue it doesn't fully derive the NAP, especially regarding property acquisition and external goods. Does it actually prove the NAP? If you're a Hoppian, yes. You'd argue that AE logically demonstrates the necessity of libertarian norms for rational discourse, and that denying this is inherently contradictory. If you might say that AE is clever, but it misuses ought from an is, relies too heavily on formalistic argumentation, doesn't account for real-world ethical pluralism. What's my take? Argumentation ethics is intellectually elegant, but not airtight. As a meta-ethical argument, it's fascinating, especially within Austrian and deontological libertarian circles. But as a deductive proof of the NAP, it likely doesn't convince those who don't already lean libertarian. It faces the classic problem of deriving ethics from logic alone. That said, even if AE doesn't prove the NAP in a mathematical sense, it may still serve as a powerful rhetorical and philosophical weapon against coercive systems, by highlighting the internal contradictions of statist moral claims.
Yeah. Right.
Would you like a Steelman of the strongest Hoppian defense, a rebuttal from a consequentialist like David Friedman, or a formal syllogism-style breakdown?
Okay, so my rebuttal from that is that it's not a I guess a pure like you're not deriving right and ought from an is, right? You're deriving right, an ought from an ought, right? Because if you are to present a worldview, right, you ought act this way. So
you're deriving an ought from an ought, is it?
Yes. You're deriving an ought from an ought. You ought act this way if you present a worldview. So like
I don't know if it's just me, but your microphone is cracking up a little bit. I don't know.
No, I don't hear that. Oh.
Can you hear me? I just played with my thing
a little bit, but you're like breaking in and out. I think it might be your connection or something.
Maybe I'll stop watching the stream. Maybe that's the issue. How's that sound?
Better now.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much right. So if I guess the Robert right tries to claim right that his action to steal my wallet or whatever is morally justifiable, he's still caught in the contradiction. It just undermines his whole argument, right? Because he a way to justify his action, so then argumentation. That's it.
So what should I say in response to this? You're not getting an ought from an is. You're getting an ought from an ought.
Well,
So should I say?
Yeah. Well, just say right that argument, right, to justify any action requires argumentation, right? And because right argumentation, you ought act in a certain way to argue, right? You're still in this proponent contradiction, if that makes sense. So, something like that.
Maybe you want to type what you want to say out, and then I'll put it
Oh my god, I'm playing Minecraft, my dude.
Oh, you don't have to then.
Yeah,
shit.
I'm sure you can decode
All right,
it.
so basically, I don't even really understand the argument, honestly. Let me see. Let me ask it this question then. How about this? What are the main arguments for why argumentation ethics is incorrect or not true? All right. So there's the is-ought gap, basically Hume's guillotine. Just because an argumentation involves peaceful behavior doesn't logically imply that such behavior is morally required outside of an argumentation. AE attempts to jump from is to ought because something that David Hume famously said is invalid, thus an added moral premise. Critique to argumentation context doesn't equal moral universality. Someone can respect your rights to speak during a debate, but still deny that you have any right afterwards. A person could be morally inconsistent, or just arguing without committing a logical contradiction. Then there's performative contradiction, not a moral refutation. Critics argue that a contradiction is performative. How you act doesn't necessarily invalidate your argument unless you've accepted the same premise elsewhere. AE assumes that norms of argumentation are morally obligatory, but never actually proven. It also presupposes property rights is overstated, but critics say this confuses the use of moral justification, but just because you're using your body or voice doesn't mean that you're entitled to it in a normative sense. Yeah, it seems like there's like 7 overall arguments.
Yeah.
It presumes what it tries to prove argumentation isn't the only form of. Those are basically the main arguments.
What do you mean? How is an argumentation the only form of moral reasoning?
Okay, so critique. AE treats argumentation as the exclusive path to ethical truth, with excludes person who reason morally in other ways: emotion, intuition, religious principles, consequentialist analysis. If you deny the NAP, you are contradicting yourself in argument. Critics say, "Who cares? I don't accept your framework, and I can do ethics another way."
Well, but by saying that you're accepting the presupposed norms of argumentation, because that's an argument. Like,
I mean, I guess you're saying so. Like, from what I hear, and let me know if I'm wrong. And it's like, so basically, the argument from argumentation ethics is, and you can let me know if I'm incorrect or whatever. The argument is basically, hey, okay, so when you argue, there's certain things that you have to believe in. If not, you're going to contradict yourself, right?
It's not that you have to
or accept.
Believe is that argumentation, I guess, presupposes, right, like how certain moral norms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right, so you couldn't argue, right, if you haven't already accepted that, right, I have bodily autonomy, right? So because if I were rejecting your bodily autonomy, I would be assaulting you in some way, right? Like to argue is to accept just that fact, right?
Here, but the thing is, like, so then it's basically like, if you arguing, you have to at least respect the property right to use your body, because you're using your body in order to make an argument.
Well, sure, yeah. It's that as well. You're using your body to make an argument, right? But you're also respecting the other person's property rights as well to make that argument.
Well, then, from my perspective, it sounds, and from what I heard, it was like, okay, when you're arguing, like when you make an argument, not maybe like with another person, just like general, right? When you make an argument, you're using your body. So in your actions, you're basically saying, I believe I ought to have the right to use my body.
Right,
So
right,
you're
and that's
implying.
one of the things. That's one
So
of the things.
yeah,
with
that's like one of the
argumentation.
things that you what you said earlier.
Yeah, that's
Is
yes,
presupposed action, right?
yes. Hmm.
And then let's say I get into an argument with you about something, then I'm basically, in order for me to get into an argument with you, I have to it presupposes that I consider you to be a being that is worth arguing, meaning that I believe that you have self-ownership
Well, I'd say bodily autonomy, but yeah.
or bodily autonomy, self-ownership. So basically, when you're arguing with another person, you're recognizing their self-ownership as you argue with them. You would just fight them or something like
Yeah, and right. But then as well, with argumentation requires scarce meat. Right, you're using your voice box, your brain, like even deeper than that. You like use like things to like food to feed yourself. All of that is required for you to argue, right? And that requires for you to recognize some kind of a lock-in property norm.
that. Hey, Davey.
Yo, what's up?
Davey.
I,
Hi, Davey. Are you happy?
hello. I think so. Are you happy?
That's crazy.
What do you think about taxes?
What taxes?
Just taxes in
taxes.
general.
Specifically, like what? It's necessary.
Do you think taxation is theft?
No, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yes.
Why doesn't
But is
answer whether it's theft?
But yeah, is it theft?
Like it depends on what taxes, okay? But like without tax, you wouldn't have no schools, no community, no nothing.
Yeah, but is it
Like
theft?
obviously, bro. No, it's not theft.
Okay. What would
Without
make
it, like the system won't run.
Okay. So, what is theft?
Stealing money from someone?
Doesn't the state steal our money?
I mean, you're mandated to, but like it's different from just like straight up robbing.
How?
Why?
I mean, I would say the state forcing you to pay them for services and whatnot. And then saying, you know, if you don't pay us, we're going to send armed men to your house. You're going to go to fucking prison. I would say that's robbery.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
When I say armed men, I mean police.
Or military or whatever.
Whatever they use, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you can classify it as like theft if you really wanted to, I guess. But like it's like something that we need.
Not necessarily.
Do you guys not agree? Like how would you run society without taxes? Like if you're in like the president's spot or something like that.
Oh, you just abolish that spot.
Privatize the functions of the state.
How?
Well, what you do, you have what you do is you have private entrepreneurs take up the mantle of providing the services that the state does, whether it be protection, fire, putting
You
out
want anarchy?
police. Yeah, we're Ancaps.
Yes.
Damn, bro. Like, you seriously think there's gonna be like zero corruption if you leave it all to like just companies? They're all gonna go in monopoly, bro.
Yeah, there's so much monopoly amongst bakeries, you know.
Like,
Yeah,
even with the
bakeries.
government like controlling us, there's still so much
Coffee
monopoly.
shops are so
What would happen without
monopolized.
zero control?
Yeah, yeah.
The state is a
Coffee shops
monopoly.
are so monopolized. See, if there was no state, you wouldn't have coffee or bread.
Yeah.
Like, how would you
Uh,
like divide power? Is it just whoever's strongest? There's
No.
no system that'll protect it.
Well, we would have private security or insurance agencies that would take up the mantle of protecting its clients.
Yeah, but if the insurance agencies go into monopoly, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
There's so much
Get to
monopoly amongst
monopoly.
coffee
No,
shops.
it's gonna get so much work with anarchy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get so much worse.
But describe
all
no,
these
but
coffee
describe
shops.
how it'll go
Well,
to
guys,
monopoly.
one at a time. Trex, go ahead.
Yeah, but describe how it'll go to monopoly.
I didn't hear you.
Describe how these insurance companies will become a monopoly.
Monopolies only exist under a status system.
Okay.
The reason why is because under a free market, anytime that you make profit off of selling any good, other people will see that you're making a lot of money, and then will try to replicate what you're doing in order to make that money too, or to cash in, well, selling. That basically allows for multiple companies to compete with each other selling the same service. Under the state, you see a lot of monopolies because the state basically makes it illegal for businesses to compete with other businesses in many ways, whether it's licensing laws, whether it's minimum wage laws, whether it's zoning laws, regulations, patents, things like that. Those are all examples of thin laws that the states put in place in order to allow for businesses to get ahead of each other and become monopolies. But when you get rid of those laws and allow for a free market, you don't really see any monopoly. You don't really see any coercive monopoly.
Right, but if there is a service, right, that someone's providing, right, and it has a very large market share, it just means that they're doing a very good job, right? And if they're not doing a good job, well, people will just go to the competition naturally.
In a free market, that's what that demonstrates. I would say.
That's why
If a
when you
firm
look at places
has, like,
that that's why you look at industries that aren't very regulated, see a lot of competition. I mean, just look at food. There isn't one cookie industry. You could make your own cookies right now and sell them. I mean, assuming that there are.
But there's still regulations.
Yeah, there's still
Well,
some
there's
regulations.
still
but it's not as harsh as other industries, and because of that, you have tons of different brands for cookies. You don't just have one. Chips Ahoy, you got Oreos, you make your own cookie dough. Tons.
You can make your own cookies.
I have a question. How would you sort international relations when you don't have a government?
Trade. Provide them goods and
Okay.
services in exchange.
Just trade? Like, who's gonna get to decide all that?
Millions of people
What do you
with
mean?
private property.
Yeah, for like every single small thing, there's so many stuff that goes on.
No
why would that
person
not
decides.
be
Each individual
feasible?
decides what they want to do with their own property.
Then you don't have a country.
Good.
We don't want a country.
So monopoly is bad, right? What is a state?
It's a monopoly on force.
Yeah, territorial monopolist of ultimate decision making. But when we're talking about anarchy, right? Anarchy is a relationship. So, what is the relationship between, say, America and Canada? Anarchical. Who decides whether, I don't know, Coca-Cola trades in Canada?
The Canadian government.
No, the government decides whether they allow it or not. They don't decide whether Coca-Cola trades there or not.
True. They do. The owners of Coke.
Yeah. And the people who buy Coca-Cola. So I don't understand where is this need for the government to decide foreign trade. More trade is better. You want more trade, you don't want less. And the government goes in and says, okay, we want less of this and more of this. But more of this doesn't happen just because the government says they want it.
The state is
So
inefficient.
what they do? Well, I mean, yeah, but what they do is they have to give you money or penalize other sectors of the market. How?
Right.
Stealing taxes, or in this case, tariffs. How else are they gonna do anything other than stealing money?
And also, like how is the system gonna? I still don't understand. Like, if someone committed a crime, who's gonna be there to like keep them?
Well, you
I
first
mean, you
okay,
can
so
hire
first
someone
you
to
have to
do
prove the
that.
crime
Right?
was committed, right? Who do you prove the crime
Yeah,
to?
who do you prove to? Like there's no system.
There,
There
Are
would be
you
private.
American?
You would have each individual person would have private and
Wh-
security.
Why do you have a jury of your peers? What do you think that is?
So to answer his question and what would hold other individuals accountable, each individual would pay into a private security agency. And let's say you get into a dispute or somebody steals something from you, you would just call your
Well,
private
sure, but
security agency, and
Yeah,
then
but
they would
who's right between the many private security people? Like, who's right then?
what do you mean?
So
Who's
Well, they'd
right?
go to
They're
an
all
adjudicator.
privately. And how would there be
Mhm.
like zero corruption when they're literally when you're paying them?
Well, there wouldn't be zero corruption, right? But there would just be a lot less corruption, right?
No, it'll be
Because
so much more corruption.
no,
What do
no.
you mean so much
Think
more
about it,
corrupt?
right? Would you go to a corrupt person, or would you go to a non-corrupt person?
No. By paying them, you can make them corrupt, is what I'm saying. Not that they're
By
already corrupt.
paying,
yeah, but if they get
by
paid to be
paying them,
corrupt, other people will stop paying them,
yeah,
and then they lose more. They lose money.
yeah. You don't want a corrupt adjudicator, do you?
Yeah. So
Hey,
Like,
that will incentivize them to be honest. Whereas with the state, it's a monopoly, and if it's
Oh,
dishonest,
shut up.
you're forced.
how would you settle any argument between two people? Like, even if you were to hire
Private
like
security agencies will
yeah,
settle
but
them.
like even if you hire private security, what are they gonna do?
Arbitration.
private
yeah,
courts,
and
Private courts.
arbitration.
They'll send it to arbitration, and whichever one wins in the arbitration, the private security client who loses, the private security agency will say, "I am no longer going to back this client up," and then
And then what happens?
then you'll face justice.
Like, who's justice? Who's controlling justice? It's all about
Private
yourselves.
security, private security, the
Bro,
insurance
stop-
agency
like-
that's representing you.
can we mute this guy?
Why?
The poon guy.
Oh, I have him muted on my end. What's up?
Oh, okay.
What are you saying?
It's just saying
Yeah.
stupid.
You want me to
Yeah,
put
that's
you
what
on?
I said.
I'm just muting this guy. I'm just.
That's what I said.
All right, I'll just
Yeah.
mute him.
What did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he
One
saying
second,
something?
okay?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Okay, he's on.
All right, he's
I
Nice.
don't know what he was. I think he might have been on the phone with someone else or something, and then had the phone on, or I don't know.
No, I don't think that. I think it's just trolling.
So basically, it would work similar to how it works now, as opposed to a state representing you, it would be a private security agency or insurance agency whom you pay to insure your property from theft or crimes. You would basically, let's say, so for instance, let's say I stole your TV. You would call your
Okay.
private security agency up and you would say, hey, this guy stole my TV. They would then go
Yeah.
to you and be like, oh, not or me. And they'll be like, hey, you need to give back this TV that you stole. Then I'd be like, okay. Or I will say no. Then I'll be like, no, I got my own private security agency. The private security agencies will get together, be like, hey, we have evidence that your client committed a crime. If they don't agree, they could take it to a third-party private security agent, private court, and whoever wins, the other party who loses will back down, and the person who loses will face justice. And what will incentivize them to be honest is the fact that the people who are under their jurisdiction or under their protection could leave and go to another competing private security agency if they feel they're being dishonest. Whereas with the state, they could be dishonest and, well, you still have to pay them.
I mean, you can still be absolutely dishonest with private security agencies.
Yeah, but you could leave.
Yeah, it's conceivable, sure. We're not advocating for utopia, right? But the thing is that the market incentivizes these people to be honest.
Because if you have a company, like, for instance, let's say Chips Ahoy allowed one of their producers to let maggots into their cookies, just one of them,
Okay.
you know, tons of people would stop buying Chips Ahoy. So, what keeps them honest is the fact that if they're not honest, well, then people aren't going to want to buy from them. They're going to lose money. Whereas with the state, you're forced to pay them regardless of whether they give you a good service or not. So there's nothing really incentivizing the state to do a good job.
Are you gonna throw the guy who put maggots in like the cookies in like prison or something? Like, for example, like who's gonna keep hold of that guy?
I mean,
You
it might be like
you
a fraud
misunderstood.
case.
You misunderstood what I
Yeah.
said. Completely.
What?
My point
Yeah.
wasn't. I said let's say you opened up your Chips Ahoy and found out that Chips Ahoy was okay with letting people put maggots in their cookies and selling them. People
Yeah.
would stop buying Chips Ahoy
Yeah, yeah.
and they would lose profit, right?
Yes.
So that
Yeah, yeah,
incentivizes them not to do that because
yeah.
they're dishonest
Yeah.
and they just
Right,
let
but
people.
that could be
That's the
yeah,
same
that
with
could
the
be a
government,
civil
though.
suit. Yeah, it could be a civil suit there. You know, it's like, hey, you know, I ate some maggots that
Well,
made me sick. You know,
not only could they be sued, right? Because but people would stop buying from them because people would be
Yeah, that's
disgusted
the
by
same
that.
with like our government right now, though. Like, if you put freaking maggots in your cookies, no one gonna buy them, bro.
Yeah, but it's not government that's making cookies. This is a private company.
Yeah, but still, like, no one's gonna buy it. It's the same.
what do you mean? But
Again, but
you're
we're
forced to
forced.
pay for the
Yeah, you're
government.
forced to pay for the state's
Yeah,
services.
they wouldn't have a monopoly on the market. You can't buy from anybody else.
Yeah. Well, what if they have a monopoly on the market? Did you say?
No, he's saying that the state has a monopoly, so you can't buy from anyone else.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least I think that's what he said, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
So when it comes to the police, you have no choice but to go with the police that's in your district, and even if they're corrupt and bad and don't do a good job, uh, and also your state forces you to pay for laws that you may not even support. I mean, do you support throwing every person in jail for having sex with a prostitute or smoking weed, or you know, having doing sexual positions that are illegal in some states, right? They spend your money to enforce laws like that.
You seriously think this is gonna work though?
Yes.
Of course, you know,
What would make you
You-
think it wouldn't work?
There's just gonna be so much corruption. It's so obvious.
why is it obvious? You still haven't demonstrated.
Yeah, you gotta give us an argument for it. You can't just say, "Oh, there will be this." Like, what will make you think that?
Like, no one's there to control. Like even private agencies, they're businesses.
Oh, if you like, okay, so we'll go back to the Chips Ahoy example. So if you opened up your Chips
No,
Ahoy,
no, no, no. I get that. I get that. That they won't
so
use
the
it.
example that the point of that example is that there may not be a law in the sense that there's no state holding them accountable. But if they don't provide services that they promise, say that they're going to give, then people can choose not to buy them. That will hold them accountable because they want to make money. So there are things that hold them accountable. It's called market forces.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, very beautiful.
So, Davey, what do you say? Are you an anarcho-capitalist?
Yeah, you with us now?
No.
What? Why not, man?
No.
Come
No,
on,
bro.
man.
What are you saying?
What do you mean?
My brain's lagging because it's late. But like, I can assure you that it's gonna go corrupt, even with like what you stated.
Okay, I got a question. Does capitalism work?
I think it's working. There are flaws, but
Okay.
it's a system that works. It's better than the communists, bro.
Exactly, right? Exactly, right? And
It's still
so,
functioning.
by applying right the same logic, right, that capitalism works, right?
I
You just apply that to just every other service that the state controls.
Mm-hmm.
It's illogical to think otherwise.
And there are many books and stuff like that that go over how it all could work.
well, same for like Marxism, bro.
Yeah, but it doesn't work
Well-
in the, like you okay, so like I could show you private companies that work in the real world that make profit, that make prosperity, right? Like I could show you capitalism working. Right? I can't show you that communism works.
Like, how would you even solve any international problems, as I stated?
We wouldn't have any.
So you guys are not a
no,
country, but just like private
Okay, well,
people.
no, I'm sure there would be,
Yeah.
but
We
I
wouldn't
don't
be
see
part of it.
why
the companies
you.
would go with it.
They'll be like,
So like, there'd
not
be
our
no
problem.
like, how would you deal with wars? Like, in
Private military.
bro. Okay.
Yeah, get
Many
Blackwater.
private militaries in fact, actually.
This is so funny.
Multiple. There would be multiple. There would
Yeah,
be a
guerrilla
variety of them.
warfare. We'll use
Private
guerrilla
military
warfare like the
strong.
Saudis.
So it's absolutely just gonna function off of money. Like the whole system is just gonna function off of money.
Every system functions off of money.
Well, no,
Yes,
it's
that
not
is
just
true.
money, right? But it would function off of I guess subjective value preferences.
And
Right.
profit.
It'd be like so, and then that will be reflected in what's profitable, right?
Mhm.
So if you live in a society that I don't know values security, right? What do you think is going to happen? You think there's going to be security? You think there's going to be security companies there or no security?
You're gonna have a lot. Like HOAs,
Yeah.
they pay for. They don't even use the police. Of some of them, they use private security. You know, keep people out.
Yeah.
You could have something like that, like an HOA insurance company.
But yeah. But the reason why, like we say, insurance companies, right, is because they'd be the ones most incentivized to do so, right? Because who's going to be paying for that new TV that got stolen? It'd be the insurance company. So they'd be like, right, I want to get this TV back. I want to make sure that this TV doesn't get stolen in the first place, right? So I don't have to pay 10 grand for my brand new plasma.
Yeah, like insurance you would pay your insurance company. They would basically do the logistics in the background, like how often do people get robbed? you know, what if we charge everyone this amount each month? Would it be enough to cover the the amount of times people get robbed, and the things and the amount of money that would be like kind of like how insurance works for what do you call it? Medical stuff and car insurance and things like that. And they would hire they would charge people a certain amount of money each month and or year or out of their paycheck or whatever, and using that money, if somebody steals something from you, they use money from the pool of money
Right.
to repay you back for the thing that was stolen. And if they need to use private security, then they would hire a private security agent.
I have
Thank you.
another question.
Sure.
What would happen if like some stuff aren't profitable but mandatory for the whole society, like hospitals or like some other needs, like because like maybe like
Hospitals are
extremely
profitable.
expensive stuff. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying that. What if someone doesn't decide to make one, road construction, for example, is extremely expensive.
Toll roads.
Yeah, toll roads.
Toll roads.
Flood control,
Insurance.
national defense.
I got a
Private
question. Do people value these things that you're mentioning?
Yeah, but it's not profitable sometimes.
Why
is what
wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be profitable if people value it? Right? They go, right. I necessarily value this thing more than however much.
Example,
money I have.
maybe I decide to make like the highway or something, right? Would I just collect money from everyone who uses the highway?
I mean,
If any person
yeah,
that
you
enters,
probably-
yeah, or you could have like
Yeah.
a kind of similar to what they have now. They have like a license plate thing reader, where they'll like read your license plate and then they'll bill you in the mail.
Like, if there's no law that controls it, and I'm the only one who has enough money to construct the roads, why can't I just put $50 per car? No one's gonna be able to talk shit.
Well, somebody
I
else
made
would.
it.
It would be nothing illegal for or prohibiting another person from creating a road next to your road and then charging $20.
Yeah, what
And
if I
then-
just bought like a whole like huge gateway that's extremely like,
Somebody
Like-
could buy
like-
the land next to it and then go around it.
bruh.
Yeah. Or right.
I mean, you can't buy the
Hey,
whole
we
world.
could invent. We'll invent
Yes, that's
hovercrafts,
true. What
you
I'm
know?
trying to prove here is that, like, if one person has enough power and money, they can overthrow the whole thing super easily because there's no state to control.
I don't think so.
How? I just made my point
Because
here.
they-
I don't
because-
get what you don't.
Because there
Okay.
not because nobody has an infinite amount of money in which they can buy the whole world and stop people from building roads.
Yes, but in this case, like, the rich are gonna get extremely rich in a very short span, and the poor will just keep on getting poor. That's the same for capitalism, but at least we have a system
That's
that'll
not true.
prevent
Incorrect.
it from.
The poor are
Okay,
not
bro.
getting poorer.
What do you mean?
The poor
Well,
are
I
not
mean,
Like,
getting
if you don't have
okay,
money-
okay.
How are you gonna buy those private stuff?
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's not
just-
true in
just
the
to
real
get-
world that the poor are getting poorer. Actually, the poor are getting richer by every metric.
Well, I mean, for the last like 5 years have been a bit of an outlier because of all of this
COVID.
the COVID stuff and all of that stuff. But like before that, right? People were consistently getting richer and richer, and right, and you'd get a recession every now and then, right? But people bounce back, and you know these recessions were caused by state interference, right? because what the state does is that they put the thumb on the market, right? So they make stuff seem more profitable than it should be, right? And so what will that do? It will make people invest in these unprofitable things, and when it turns out, oh, these things aren't actually that profitable, it will just
You guys
bust.
are thinking
right?
it's like way too simple, but in reality, it's not that simple. It just doesn't run just on supply and demand. It's not that simple,
No, it's
bro.
not just
It's
supply
because
and
the
demand,
state controls the
right?
Federal Reserve that they artificially lower.
There are
and
certain things that
raise-
require law.
We would
Well, we're not
have
advocating a
law.
lawless
We're not
society.
against law.
We're just
Like, who's gonna make the
we're just
laws
not
if
being,
everyone's anarchists?
Private
well,
security.
courts.
Shorts.
Look,
Dude, stop
courts,
saying
private
private
security.
security. They're not gonna make up for every single flaw in anarchy. Like, you can't
Well,
just say
sure.
private security.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that
We're
it's
not
going to be
utopian.
perfect, right? I'm sure that there's going to be some injustice. I'm
Not
sure there's
some
still going to be.
extreme injustice. Just like
Well, wait,
imagine like a
what about
private.
the extreme injustices that the state causes?
It's so much more minimal than like no
I
law,
would
no
disagree.
What
control.
make we
Like,
we're not saying we're not against law. We already explained that.
Yeah,
no,
we're
there's
not
no
against
We
law,
are against
and
law.
you can't just pick and choose
There's
like
no
whatever you'd like.
no. There's
We're
no
not saying that.
authoritarian law.
Under
It's
anarchy, there
private
is
law.
no law.
No,
There is
under
no-
We explained
anarchies,
how
there's
there
no unjust hierarchies, and what you consider to be an unjust hierarchy is what.
Dude,
makes
who's gonna
you
make up the laws if there's no state?
We do.
The
We-
laws are
What do you mean you
individuals.
do? What?
Laws
Like
are
with like what?
humans, us human beings.
With like whoever has like most money?
No, the
No.
private
No.
security agencies, what they will do is they will create laws, and then they'll be like, hey,
It'll be
if
the
you want
courts.
our
What if
or
someone
the courts,
disagrees?
and they will.
It's just gonna be like
Hold on,
power based.
excuse me, I'm explaining. So what they will do is they'll create certain laws, right? And they'll be like, hey, we will protect you so long as you follow these laws, and you don't follow these laws, we're not going to protect you. And you could choose to pay us or other private security agencies. And you would choose which ones with the best laws that you think are the best laws.
Yeah.
You
And
think there's gonna be no
like,
collisions between the private.
No, they would be. In
Well-
fact, they would most likely be incentivized to sign agreements with each other in order to back each other up in case of a firefight or something like that. Because fighting each other would make them lose more money than helping each other. You could speak, Sather. No one's stopping you.
I don't want to sit there and get in between your guys' conversation. I'm just letting you speak.
You could talk.
No, if there's no way for people to tell you what the laws are or what the laws aren't, then that would be what?
Oh, we're anarchists.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
I didn't know what
but man,
I didn't know what ANCAP meant, so maybe that was my question.
Anarcho-capitalism.
Yeah, so ANCAP is just short for anarcho-capitalist. So we believe in anarchy as in no
You still
state.
believe in capitalism. You still believe in capitalism, right?
Yes, we're against the state because we believe that taxation is theft, but we're not communists. We believe in private property.
Okay. Question here is do you still believe in taxation?
No.
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 That's why we're anarchists.
So if there was no taxation to be able to incentivize any type of organizations, or maybe I would say to put into place a certain power, then it would fall to disorder, right?
Not necessarily. We believe that the functions of the state should be privatized. Protection,
Yeah,
law and order,
but there's still
adjudication,
yes,
arbitration.
yes, sure. But there's someone who still has to come in and make law and order, like how would I say some sort of
It would be
I don't
competing
some sort of
private
some sort of
insurance
power would
agencies.
come in. Yeah, some sort of a power would come in and regulate that, right?
What would regulate it is the people who are purchasing their goods, and if they don't do a good job, then people can choose to buy from another company, and then
You're talking about free trade. We do that all the time.
Yeah. But the difference from how it is now versus how it would be in ANCAP is that all the functions of the state would be privatized, which would mean that as opposed to having one monopolistic state that forces you to pay into its system and is the final arbiter in all conflicts, there would be multiple private companies that you could choose from that would settle disputes in their own way, and you could choose which one you think is the best.
Well, King, we do that all the time.
I agree, we do. Private companies privately arbitrate all the time, right?
We do that.
But
We
when
do
you're
that with private healthcare and everything. For example, private healthcare, we do that all the time.
Yeah.
We just incentivize a reason why you should pay more.
But all the functions of the state would be privatized, and it would work the same way.
They do that all the time. The state's privatized. Hence the reason why federal government can't intrude on state law. That would be private, wouldn't it?
No, the state is not private.
Yes, it is. Maybe state officials are not private. State officials may not be private, but Medicaid and inside the state, certain aspects of the state would be a private type of organization where they could do private things that the government can't intrude on, right?
I mean,
they do that all the time.
Sure, they have like private like means and interests. Sure, right? I don't know how it exactly works in America, but
it is in America right now.
Yeah, America the United States government is definitely not a private company that you can.
Right,
because we're not talking about the government, jackass. We're talking about the state.
That's what we're talking about too.
No, we just got to what states are doing, and we were just talking about how states make private things and private corporations, hence healthcare, right? We do this all the time. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, but the police aren't privatized. The courts aren't privatized.
No, bro, those all have to do with the federal government.
Yeah, so we want to privatize those.
Sure. You seriously think you can privatize schools?
But no,
yes, you can.
You have local police. They're not federally.
Yes, but you have private schools. What are you talking about? You have private education. You have homeschool. That's private, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
There are private police too.
What the fuck?
We need private.
What are we arguing?
It's called private security. The argument is that you can have your anarchy state, but that would be considered just the states being anarchy.
Well, it wouldn't be a state because everything would be
privately
owned.
Everything would be privately owned, and it would be consensual.
But the state does this already.
No, they don't. They force you to pay.
Yeah, for the public people. I'm talking about they fight against the government every day about private things. They have private schools, private medical.
Yes, but the state forces you to pay for non-private things.
Right. I'm gonna go out for dinner soon, so I'm gonna head out. So see you.
Have a good night, Terrence.
All right, see you.
Yeah, see.
The state forces you to pay for non-private stuff.
Okay, demonstrate that.
Well, if I do not pay taxes, that then goes to the military, which is not private, I will be shot.
Are you paying that on a state level or a federal level?
State and federal. There are federal taxes and state taxes.
So what happens if you don't pay a state level tax?
You'll go to jail.
No, you won't.
Really?
You want to try that? What would make you think that?
It would be put on your credit, but if you don't...
Hold on,
what happens if you don't pay that?
What happens if you don't pay an actual federal government state tax?
They're going to throw you in jail.
The federal government taxes you, then they put you in prison, right? They have an incentive, a force where they say, well, if you don't pay, you go to jail. But are you actually going to go to the state and just, let's say I'm going to go to the state and not pay their tax? They're going to put me in jail.
Yeah.
No,
We
they
don't pay. Yeah.
When's that happened?
I mean, it's happened to many people who don't pay taxes.
Give me an example. Give me an example who doesn't.
So wait,
who
so
don't
you mean,
pay
so you
taxes
think,
supposed
wait, do
to?
you think that the government won't do anything? You're saying that the state government won't do anything if you don't pay taxes. They'll just let you not pay taxes.
They won't. They won't.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
That's
But
interesting because when I look it up,
At least the U.S. government themselves will do something by force.
so in California where I live,
IRS is
tax
bad.
evasion is punishable by up to 1 year in county jail or state prison. That's interesting.
Sure,
That you can be
sure,
imprisoned for that.
sure.
I thought you can't.
Yeah, but they still have to. You still have to go through the county. They would still have to prove why you didn't pay the tax, and you would still have to go through a what process?
Didn't you say that you won't get arrested? You won't be
Yeah,
in
but
prison for not
they're
paying your
gonna make
taxes
you.
on a state level.
But
automatically
after the
arrested.
process is done, they're gonna put you in jail if you haven't paid.
No, there is an incentive of putting it on your credit that matters in the state.
But if you don't pay,
that would
eventually
be the
they're gonna
state.
go to jail. You're gonna go to jail.
No, that's just like saying someone that should pay.
I'm reading this right now. In California,
That would
you can
be
literally
state.
go to
That
prison
would be
over
state.
tax evasion.
Tax evasion
that
is a
would-
crime.
that I'm saying that would be a state.
State taxes, federal to any tax, doesn't matter.
Because federal has force where they're going to use it, and they're going to tell you, well,
Yeah,
if you
but the
don't
state
pay-
also has force too. States also have force, and if you don't
Okay,
pay state
well,
taxes, they're gonna throw you in jail.
There is a state tax where you can claim exempt on it, and then you would have to pay them back a certain amount of money.
I mean, if,
right?
and if you
Or-
don't pay, they'll throw you in
if you don't-
jail.
Or if, no, they would just sit there and deduct you off of your shit, dude. They'll just take it out of your check like they always do. What are you talking?
Well, that's
IRS,
assuming. What if you
that's
don't
what
have a
happens.
check?
IRS has an incentive where if you don't pay it out of your check and you just claim exempt,
What if I
then they
just
can
make money
ask
through?
the IRS and say we could throw you in jail.
Okay, but let's say I don't want them to. Let's say I don't use a check.
You know, I said you can
How are they
claim
gonna?
exempt.
Then what?
Yeah, you can claim exempt and not pay them a fucking dime, which I would say incentive to pay the state government what you are owed to them, right, as a tax, right? What I'm saying, what the IRS is going to do is going to sit there and actually use force on you. If you don't pay it, here you have to pay the fucking fine for it, or you're going to jail. States don't do that; they'll just take it out of your credit, or they'll take it out of your paycheck, just like they do with, for example, maybe child. They don't literally just go throw you in jail. And I'm not speaking.
You're just
all
wrong.
states. I'm saying
Respectfully, you're just incorrect.
This is most states.
Yeah, you just. Yeah, I just disagree with you, man. Yeah,
Okay,
if you
well,
go to
it's-
jail,
It's
like
incorrect. You can definitely go. People go to prison for tax evasion. That is what we
yeah,
were
that is a
talking about.
crime.
This has happened. Like I think I can pull up an example of this. Hold on.
I'm sure if you go on the internet and look up state tax evasion, you could find an example of
It is a
someone.
felony to evade your taxes. It's punishable by jail time. I don't like. What are you trying? I don't know what you're trying to say.
Oh shit, Sherlock. Federally, it is, but you can still
No, on a
sit there and
state
say,
level too.
On a
In
state
I just
level,
told you in
too.
California. In California, where I
It's
live,
still
it
theft,
is punishable by
even
up
if
to
they
a year
take tax
in
out
jail
of or loan.
or state prison. You can 100% go to jail over this, or prison. There's a difference.
And even if they take money out of a loan or a check, that's still theft because they're taking it without your permission.
no, that's if you don't claim
Or
exempt
salary.
on your shit, dude. You can claim exempt on
I
your
shouldn't
fucking
have to
W.
do that. The state doesn't have a right to take my money in
You
the first
have to pay
place.
them back. Yeah, that's why you're claiming exempt, dumbass. Oh my
It doesn't
gosh.
matter.
Do you know what?
Talking about.
It doesn't
Have you
matter
ever
if I
claimed
claim
exempt?
exempt or don't.
Have you-
They don't have
Have
the
you
right to
ever
take my
claimed
money.
exempt? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
Yes. When you ask
Okay,
them,
what is it?
you ask them
What does
to
it mean?
not let me. When you ask them not to force me to pay taxes.
No.
Yeah, that's when you get an exemption. You'd be like, hey,
No,
can you not
that
force
means-
me to pay
that
taxes?
means
Yeah,
I'm not
here's an
complaining.
exemption.
that means I'm not going to pay you, and I'm going to collect all of it.
That's
and
literally
then,
what I just said, bro.
Then when you try to say, well, I need a tax out of that, then you have to pay them a tax,
Okay,
right?
but what if they don't give you the exemption?
Dude, you have a choice to make the choice if you want an exemption
Yeah,
or
but what
not.
if they don't give you the exemption?
They're not gonna. Oh my gosh, dude. Do you know how a job works? Do you know when you go in to sign a W-2 that you can actually sign for exemption, right? You
Wow,
know
I
this?
didn't know
Telling me I
that.
can just not pay taxes. What are you
Well,
talking
you
about?
You could. I didn't
No,
know
I
you
don't
could
say
just.
that you cannot just
I didn't
not
know
pay
that.
taxes.
I could just stop
I'm
paying
saying-
state taxes.
Are you stupid or something?
I didn't know
I'm
that,
saying-
bro.
There is still an incentive to pay taxes, but you can go and claim
What's the
exempt.
incentive to pay taxes?
There you go. There's the whole fucking question I'm trying to ask here. You can still
There is
go
none.
and apply for a job, bro. You can still go right now, apply for a 9 to 10 job, and say,
I've
okay,
applied
well,
for
I'm
a
not
job
gonna pay
before.
you. I'm
And
not
I've never
gonna
seen
sit
the
there and
option. I've never seen the
Yes.
option where it says we're not. Hey, yeah, you don't have to pay taxes.
What do you mark on your shit? A 0 or a 4? Do you mark something on there? You mark something on there, right?
I've never seen
When you go
them
to
say,
sign
hey, you
a
don't have to
W-
pay
When you
taxes.
go to sign a W-2, what do you put on there?
I don't know.
You don't. You just put that 0 on there when they say, "Well, it's okay." You just put that 0 on there.
And then I won't have to pay taxes anymore.
Do you
Most
know-
countries
do
don't
you know
allow
what an
tax exemption,
of tax
only in
means?
special occasions.
Yeah, I don't think
Are
you
you
can just do that.
Are you just like fucking stupid or something? I don't.
I guess I'm just a
Wait,
fucking
you
idiot.
can't just like do that for like whatever reason you want.
You can
though.
kick me out all you want, but
Under
I'm
specific
not
Go
conditions.
kicking.
look
I'm
it
not
up.
kicking you
It's
out.
true.
I never said I was.
well, I heard it. Well, someone kicked this dude out.
And I never
No.
said that. I said that you're stupid. I said
Okay,
that you called me a fucking idiot.
Listen, bro. No, I called you stupid because you don't know what exempt
Oh,
means.
okay, you called me stupid.
Yes, I called you stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that
So
you
let's
can just
say,
get an
how's
exemption
that an
to.
ad-hom?
Huh?
I said, how's me calling you stupid an ad-hom?
I mean, it kind of is an ad hom.
No, it's not. You're stupid.
How is that not an ad hominem attack?
How am I being ad hom saying that you're fucking stupid, dude? Like, how
That's
the
an
fuck
insult.
is that?
Yeah,
ad hom?
you're throwing an insult at me.
Because you're stupid because you don't know what you're saying.
Oh, okay, this
yeah,
isn't
that's
productive.
just an insult.
That's the
That's-
definition of stupid, idiot.
Hold on.
Now you're
Can you
calling me
become
stupid
tax
and an
exempt
idiot.
for whatever reason you want, just because you don't want to pay taxes? Can you become tax exempt purely for that reason,
Just
or
for
is it under
whatever
very
reason.
specific
That
conditions?
is not what exempt means, bro. You still would have to pay a tax. It's up to
Okay,
you
but-
to
okay,
pay.
so
you
then
still have to pay
yes.
tax.
Yeah,
Hold
so
on, wait, no,
you have to pay.
That's why I called you stupid.
Okay, so then
What is your? I don't understand
So
what your
if you
point
don't
is.
pay taxes, right, you're gonna go to jail, right?
No,
Oh my god,
whole
you're
purpose-
literally.
The whole purpose of exempt means that you would choose what your taxes go to, right? So let's say how
That's-
much you
what?
say, how much does the federal government want from me? How much does the state want from me? And then you would go and you would align these taxes to your taxes, like a normal person would, right? Well, how much am I actually working for? How much am I going to actually give you? And then you would have to determine these things based off of taxes. Sometimes people who don't know what they're doing
Bro
will
lost
go
it.
and actually hire people to do this for them, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works, dude.
Yes, the whole point of exempt taxes would be able to show the government and the state, well, I worked for this money, so I'm going to give you what I think is right. Well, that's the whole point of them giving you back taxes, because you paid more to them than you should have, right? That's why you get money back. That's why you got back taxes, right? A return. Because you're probably paying more to them than you should be. So if you're going to do your own taxes, which means I get to determine out of what my taxes are and what they're telling me I have to pay, I can sit there and make the determination how I'm going to pay these taxes.
Yeah, but you still have to follow certain
Yeah.
rules, right?
Stay in federal, yes.
Yeah. So what's your point? You still have to pay taxes, yes?
Sure, but exactly.
You're still
Okay,
being
then
wrong.
you're agreeing with us. You
No,
know,
we are-
you're
we are
forced.
correct.
You have no choice
No.
but to pay taxes, right?
So, an ANCAP would sit there and say, even if they lived in a capitalist world, that you would still have to pay some sort of tax. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that you would
Wait,
agree
no.
with me that
Wait, and when in terms of like in the United States right now, you still have to pay taxes, right?
In an
Any country-
anarcho-capitalist
In
society, there would be no
an
taxes.
anarcho-capitalist society, there would be no taxes.
you're still living in a capitalistic state, bro. So you would have to pay a
Yeah,
tax.
but under the state, you have to pay taxes.
This is where we disagree. And right here is what I'm trying to say. Even if you live under a capitalist rule, you would still have to pay a form of tax, right?
No, that's not. It's
No.
not taxes.
There would be no
No?
state. There's no taxation.
Yeah.
Then
It is
there would be
purely-
capitalist.
our ideal society is founded purely upon voluntary exchanges. At least
Yeah,
ideally, of course,
voluntary
there could still be
interaction.
theft, but
That's socialism,
theft
not
would not be
capitalism.
legitimized.
That's socialism, not capitalism.
What you believe in is socialism. That's when people
No,
steal
but
people's
you guys
wealth
are
and then
talking-
redistribute it.
It's socialism.
I'm not talking. We're not talking about socialism. We are not for the abolition of private property.
Yeah.
We are not for
I thought you said you were
forcing
for
people to do what we want with their property,
We believe in
such as
property.
making
believe in
businesses
property
be
rights.
worker owned.
Yeah,
We believe in sole proprietorships and whatnot, and capitalism.
Hmm.
Okay, back to the normality. If you believe in capitalism, there would be some sort of an incentive to pay a tax, right?
There would
Oh,
be
you
no
would pay-
tax.
there would
so
be
there would
no
be no
taxes.
incentive.
Yeah,
Then it would
you
be
would, you would pay. You could pay money to a private security agency, but that's not a tax. It's just
Where's the
Okay.
return of the money coming? Who's it going to?
the insurance company.
Back to the people or back to the corporations?
The corporate. It would go to the company that is
Yeah, there you
giving
go.
you,
There
providing
you go.
you
That's
security.
a tax. That's a tax.
It's not,
not
a
a
tax. A
tax.
tax is compulsory.
Yeah,
This is
that's
not,
like
these are
that's
not
like
compulsory transactions.
yeah, that's
That's
like
tax.
saying me going to 7-Eleven and buying some candy at this is a tax.
You have to pay a sales
Taxes can't
tax
be
for that, don't
voluntary.
you?
Yeah, to the government,
okay,
not to the
inherently,
store.
though,
Not really.
buying from that private company does not entail.
I go buy. I
does
go
not
buy a
mean
Coke
that you're being
from
forced to pay that.
7-Eleven. I don't have to pay sales tax on that.
We're not saying that was not what's being said. We're saying you're not being forced to. 7-Eleven doesn't force you to pay money, nor do other companies.
Yeah, you go and
Or
you
in our
buy.
system,
You,
that
like
would
if I
be
want to
sales
buy a
tax,
candy
don't
bar,
they?
I don't get forced to buy a candy bar.
Oh no, you want to buy the candy bar.
Exactly.
But yes, you're forced to pay. You're still forced to pay the sales tax, or you don't get the candy bar.
We're not.
Yeah, but
Okay, we agree
that
with
money
sales
is
tax, but still-
yeah, but that money is going
That's
to the
what state's
government.
doing.
Yeah, that's the state though. The state is
That's not the
doing
Where's
that
the money
private
going,
company
you guys? Where's the money going?
to the state. But you're talking about the current system.
No, to the fucking corporation. You just admitted that.
No, 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 no.
You were
Under
look at
under
corporatization.
anarcho-capitalism, there would be no tax.
Oh my gosh! You said there would be a capitalistic under your anarchy beliefs. There would be some sort of a capitalistic belief, right, where everybody has to pitch in, right? There
No,
would be a tax.
No, you don't have to do
you
anything.
don't have to do anything.
That would be socialist.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Can you
respectfully,
define socialism?
no, you're just
Look it up.
incorrect.
Look it up, bro. Then it would be a
Look
socialist.
what up?
Dude, look up the word socialist.
I know what socialism means. We do not advocate for socialism. You are misunderstanding.
Yeah, we're against socialism.
We believe in private property. Socialists do not. They believe in enslaving people to make them work for
So
them.
where
They
does
don't
the
believe
money
you
go?
own your body. We believe you
Okay.
own your body and can do what you want with your property. And we believe in the freedom of businesses to transact.
Yeah, socialists hate us. Low key. High key.
Yeah, but you guys believe in the same thing that they're talking about. Probably just
No, we do not.
No, we believe in private property.
no. You just said you didn't believe in private property.
No,
So last year,
Nobody ever said that.
no,
Nobody-
we never
not-
said
neither of us
that.
said-
you just said that.
We
Who said-
never
who
said
said
that.
that?
Bro, have you been smoking that shit, bro?
Oh my gosh, dude. We don't believe in actual oh my gosh, dude. You guys just said
We don't
we
believe in
believe-
taxes.
No, that's not what you said, dude.
We've
UNC on
explicitly
that
said
good
we
shit.
advocate for private property
Bro,
rights.
have you
and we
been
believe in
smoking
private
that good
property.
shit, bro?
No, dude, you did not say that we advocate for.
You weren't listening to anything I said.
Hold on. No, you said we don't believe in actual private property rights. We believe in certain terms of those rights, but we don't believe in them 100%.
What are you talking
No,
about?
no,
You're literally
we-
making things up.
We said we believe in private property rights. We said we don't believe in taxation.
Okay, you know what? You're lucky I can't clip this shit because I don't believe
I'm
in that
live
shit.
streaming. You do know that, right?
Well,
No,
let's
it's
go
fine,
look.
but
Go look
you
at
can't-
the. Go
You
look back
you
in
can
the
clip
stream
it on
and
my
see what
live
we
stream
said.
if you want.
I'm not gonna clip you because I don't believe in that, bro. I'm just saying that you just admitted to the fact that you do not believe in private property.
If
You
you,
don't
You can
think
go and
if
look at
you
the stream.
if you
Shit.
believe that's what I said, I'm
Hey.
telling you right now, I believe in private property.
That's
I'm telling
exactly
you now.
what you said.
No. If you think that's what I said, then you're mistaken because I believe
No, just
in
go and watch
property.
the stream.
We're
Go look back in the
Ancaps.
stream. Go look back in the stream and see what either of us said.
Yeah.
See if we ever said anything about not believing in private property.
We're Ancaps.
Because we 100%
Anarcho-capitalist.
never said we don't believe in private property.
Yes.
We are against socialism. We are against anything that is not voluntary.
Okay, back to the subject then. You say you guys believe in capitalism, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's private. That's
Okay.
exchange of private property.
Okay, of course, but there would still be an incentive to pay a tax, right?
No.
Capitalism has
There would be no taxes under anarcho-capitalism.
Hold on.
Why would you want to be wrong?
Capitalism has no sense of paying taxes. There's no incentive to that.
There would
How
be
does
no
capitalism
taxes
work?
under
Hold on. How does
anarcho-capitalism.
capitalism work if you don't pay a tax?
You would pay because you could pay an insurance company to protect you as opposed to or just protect yourself. But it
So
wouldn't
the
be
tax
forced.
goes-
It's not a tax.
Well, you pay private companies for any service or good you want. That's what you should do.
And you only pay for what you want, as opposed to now
Sounds like what we're
you get
doing now.
you get forced to pay for things you don't want.
Dude, you can do that now. You don't have to pay for it.
That's
You
it's
have
not,
to
you're
pay
just not
taxes.
true. You're forced to pay
You have to pay for many
taxes.
things because of this
How?
government.
How is it not true?
Because if I do
Then you
not pay
can't-
taxes, I will be shot.
No.
Yes.
Dude, okay. Let's say I want to choose to pay for my own private insurance company, my health insurance company. Do I have a right to do that? Under capitalism.
Now or ANCAP?
No, come on, dude. Even
I'm
under
asking
the
you. I'm asking you.
Biden and Obama administration, even though it's so fucking high, and you had to pay incentives to do it. Yes,
Under a status
you
system,
still
yeah.
were able. You were still able to pay private insurance company for private healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that not what you guys are saying that capitalism is?
Are you talking about how it is now?
Yeah.
We're not under a full capitalist system.
Yes, we are, dude. What are you talking about?
No, we don't. We
No,
have
we
a
are
state.
not.
Well, then explain that to me.
Capitalism is the
How we're
free.
not under a full capitalistic state. Come on.
There's no such thing as a capitalistic state. It's like saying.
Isn't that why
consensual
they're
rape.
sitting there fighting oligarchy shit? Apparently,
All
oligarchy,
states are
but no,
all
oligarchy's
states are
running it.
inherently coercive.
Ancap sounds so dumb to me. It sounds like a fucking
You're dumb,
cult. It does. It sounds like a cult.
bro. You sound like you
What is-
smoke.
what is
Bro,
the
you sound like you
problem?
smoke hella shit, bro.
What is the problem with advocating for a world where there's not taxation, where we do not legitimize crimes such as theft, which the state engages in? What's the
Yeah.
problem with advocating for people to be able to buy from what they want from businesses and do what they want as long as they're not using force against anyone else?
Oh, that kind of sounds like
Initiating it.
Bruce. Kind of sounds like what we do right now.
It's not what we do
It's
because the
not what we
state,
do.
the state will kill you if it wants to. The state will arrest you for things that are peaceful. The state will arrest you for selling drugs to people, to willing adults. The state will violate you constantly. So no, we do not live under the system we advocate for.
So you try to advocate for lawlessness, correct?
For what?
Lawlessness.
No, we are for law. We're for private law, not law imposed by the
state
the
law.
state. It has a monopoly on law.
Private governance.
Well, don't we already have that?
No, bro.
And we don't. You have to follow the rules of the state.
Yeah, bro. No.
We don't believe in that.
Oh, well, is it better following the rules of the state or of the federal government?
Well,
Should we just say
a company, you don't have to follow their rules.
Well, wouldn't that be Ancaps then? Let's say we just get rid of the state laws and we just follow the government laws.
No, when we say the state, we basically just mean like an entire government. We're not just talking about like the governments of specific states. Like we're talking about the entire government that
that's just like
rules over the law.
like any government would be considered a state, right? Always.
That's the terminology we're operating on. We consider like a state to be a coercive governmental structure, one that taxes people, one that has a monopoly on a certain territory. They claim to have the right to operate on some territory. They impose their rules over it. They force people to pay into their system.
Oh, look, JR, finally somebody.
Sounds like the patriarchy.
What?
Sounds like the patriarchy. Monopoly on force.
Are you talking about the patriarchy?
Well, because it's part of the government, my friend. The U.S. government
is about like men being in charge or whatever.
Yeah, that's like a feminist thing.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
What's up, JR? I can hear you.
What's up, Cake?
Hello.
You'd have to demonstrate that too.
Are you an ANCAP yet, JR?
No, demonstrate.
No, I'm not an ANCAP yet. You'll get me next time.
Oh,
fuck, he's like a socialist.
Hell yeah.
Well, you guys explain Ancaps to this guy if you do.
Well, he already knows a little bit about it.
I know.
He's getting
I've already like debated this guy like 3 times. Like, I know enough about this guy's worldview.
Well, explain my world.
Yeah.
So I have a question, KingSithis. I know you might laugh at it, but it's a genuine question. But who will build the roads? I knew you'd laugh at it.
And I know because it's such a common question that I get. So, but it's okay. It's okay. So basically, the idea is that it would be privatized in the sense that because people want to go from point A to point B, what you would expect is people buying strips of land, and then charging people to drive on it. Or they would just not charge people to drive on it and maybe have stores on the side of the roads and then charge them rent to be on the road and then use that money for upkeep. Or kind of how it works now with toll roads, but
yeah, but like we don't.
You could play like a subscription service to like a bunch of roads anytime.
Toll roads only really work for roads like freeways where you can like fit a toll booth on the side. Most roads.
I mean, you wouldn't have to have only toll.
Oh well, what you could do is you could have buildings that have. So, for instance, like the people who are alongside, like if you have like a city, you can have somebody who pays for a road, and then you could just allow people to build on the side of that road, and charge them rent in order to.
It sounds awfully like taxes.
Not taxes. Not taxes. It's just rent. Just rent. That's like saying rent is taxes. It's not.
Yeah, it's gonna give me a heart attack.
Sether, I appreciate your Joker enthusiasm here.
Yeah, but he wants to be able to hear it. You're laughing really loud, and now you're kind of interrupting.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Did you mute maybe or something?
I will.
So yeah, that's. I mean, there's also, I mean, there's tons of ways in which you could fund a road. So like for instance, if you look at like a mall, right? There's a bunch of the road in the wall that you're walking on all is free. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could they possibly? And anyone could walk on the walking road on the mall. You know what I mean? So it's a service that anyone can use, right? So, how do they pay for it? Well, it's just like, oh, well, let's charge the stores in the mall money to upkeep the building, rent. And there you go. So you just kind of like scale that up for roads.
To all roads everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I have
And you could have that, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine something.
Okay, so but wouldn't that be a monopoly though? Because your house can only be on one street, so you would basically have no other choice of how.
I mean, you may have a monopoly on your own land, but you don't have a monopoly on every land. So someone could just build a land, buy the land next to your land, and then build a road around your land.
How?
It's like saying you have a monopoly over your own possession. Like, of course, you're allowed to do it.
Hold on, what you guys are saying, there would be no public, it would just be all private, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But
well, I
how
mean, you
would,
could still have swaths of land that are like unowned.
Also, you could
but
fly
there would
over
be no
people's
public
land
property.
too.
But that would be
yes,
private.
that would be very, very accessible alternative to the majority of people. I know.
Eventually, I mean, it's
famously
really
very
not
cheap.
that. I mean, people fly over land all the time. You ever heard of an airport?
Oh no! Oh no! I know, but like, wait. Do you like not believe in like airspace? Do you not think people have a right to like claim airspace?
Not really.
In
You'd have to like build a dome around.
The
some
only
fucking
way,
area.
yeah, the only way that you could like claim and land is if you like border it in some way, right? So like maybe if you built, like he just said, like if you built like a dome around your land, then you could be like, don't fly in that dome. Which I mean, I'm not sure how you would. But assuming you would be able to. But yeah, like I'm not sure how you could like claim ownership to airspace. That it's a non-physical object. Like with land, like you're claiming the
air
land.
is
You know
very
what I'm
much
saying?
physical. You can feel the breeze on your face, but like
Well,
I know what you mean.
what I mean by that is air. Yes, it is a physical object, and it is a scarce resource. You're not wrong about that. But the thing is, there's so much air that my use of air doesn't really take away from your use of air, so it doesn't.
That might change.
It doesn't come into
that might
conflict.
change one day.
I mean, yeah, maybe if we like run out of oxygen somehow, I'm not sure, but as of right now, I don't think that's how that works. Or maybe if we lived in like space,
movie is real. Becomes
you know,
real.
or you ever seen this? SpongeBob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandy, you know how she had a dome of air and sea.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
you could just be like, "Yo, that's my air. Don't breathe my air."
Right. So your metric for ownership is like being able to like contain it within like a fence or a.
It would have to
Government.
become some sort of excludable thing that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd have to like. Yeah,
Like,
and you'd
it's
have to
because
do
the
it
thing
through,
about
like,
air, like I said, it's like the thing about air is like it's such an abundant thing that like we could be in the same room and both breathe and nothing, like we're not gonna die, be fine. You know what I mean?
Well. You may be breathing, but like there are many things that you can do to air that like affect the air for everyone. Like I don't know, pumping CO2 into it, for example.
Oh, well, in that case, any CO2 or so for instance, in the case of pollution, if you could show some sort of measurable damage being done to you, your person, or your property being done by another person, that would be a property rights violation. So, for instance, in the case of like oxygen,
Wait, do
and
you
say,
think that
oh, go ahead then.
do you think that like Bangladeshi children, wait, no, do you think like people in Bangladesh who were like were like their homes flooded have a right to like sue the Koch brothers? Is that like
Potentially.
and win? Would that be like
Depends
would
on
that be,
the-
I
what's going on
don't, I'll
exactly.
be honest with you, I don't really know.
Well, there are people on Earth who have had their property destroyed due to weather events attributable to climate change. Do you think that those people have a right to sue, like, fossil fuel companies and win?
Okay, so that's kind of like a complicated question. So for
Played
the thing
WoW
is,
for years. Just recently discovered new world.
so
Amazing game.
basically,
Have you tried?
For you to have a claim against another person,
Most
you have
countries
to,
don't allow tax exemption.
you have
Only
to
in
have
special occasions.
some sort of tax.
Bro lost it.
You have to have you have to have a what do you say? A measurable damage being done to your person or property done by another person in their actions. So if you have a company that is spewing shit in the air, and because of the shit that they're spewing in the air, that's causing you to have issues breathing. Yeah, you have a case. You could prove that it was causing it.
Wait, so does that mean that wait, hold on.
But when it comes to energy companies, the problem is the people who are using their energy. I mean, yeah, they're selling the energy, and they're polluting, but they're selling energy to other people who are then using it. So I would say they're not. It's kind of hard to put the blame. I'm not sure who you could put the blame on.
Well,
Well,
the
no,
issue
that's the problem, though. You can't put the blame on any singular party.
I don't know. I don't. I mean,
like,
there.
when
I'm
it comes to
just,
like
yeah. I
general
don't know.
pollution, you probably
But, like,
usually
in
you
an
probably wouldn't
Ancap
have a
system,
case.
like, no justice can be done outside of pinning the blame on a singular party. Or a
Well, that's
certain
why we
number-
believe in
few
private
select
property
parties.
rights very strongly. Because when you do have private property rights, you can attribute violations to a single person who is doing that. So, for instance, if there's a factory that is owned by a person, then if their factory is spewing shit out in the air, then you show that it's them that is causing the damage being done to your lungs, and that's just an example. Then you could sue that person. Whereas with the state or like a corporation, something like that, it's kind of not the same.
Well, what do you mean a corporation?
Or a public situation. When you have so like if it's a company that is doing it and they are violating your rights some way, then yeah, absolutely. And you have, if somebody's, so long as but when it comes to the public, there's no owner of the public. There's it's just the people who run the state. People who are running the state are the ones. Can't really hold them responsible. Well, they're the ones that make the law. They're the monopoly on force. Also,
Yeah,
the
but,
state.
like, the majority of carbon emissions are like attributable to like private firms, though. Like,
Well, of course.
What would?
But the state allows them to that pollution. They get certificates.
Yeah, and they
from the
wouldn't
state.
be allowed. They wouldn't.
I mean,
be
it's
allowed
kind of
to
like a
do it if it
societal
weren't for,
thing.
Well, they would have to pay, under a private system. They would have to pay for the pollution to the people whom it's affecting. So what would eventually happening? Sorry, it's a little bit late. What would eventually happen is that because it's a cost, but they're putting a cost on the amount of pollution that they put, they're going to do everything they can to minimize that amount of pollution. But as of right now, they kind of just gives companies like, oh, you could pollute this much, and they always like do it, but like right up to that line.
But like,
And it's all done like arbitrarily. Oh, I think I think you should be allowed to pollute this much. and it's done by like some government. So if like, so for instance, let's say if they have a certificate saying, oh, we're allowed to pollute, and it affects you, they could just be like, oh, well, the government gave us permission, so you can do.
But how would I But what if some industry necessarily has to pollute? So how would I go about doing my pollution without affecting?
They would have to do it in a way that doesn't affect other people, or they would
How?
have to pay the people whom it affects.
How much would that be?
They measure. I mean, I can't give you.
It would probably.
It depends on what they're doing. It depends on how much. I can't give you a solid answer on that. It really just depends on the situation.
I mean, would you say that it would probably be like healthcare remedy costs? Like
it would most likely just be direct money,
thereabouts?
because we believe in restitution.
Yeah, but like you have to have like a measure of how much money is like adequate restitution, and generally that's like how much
the courts would figure that
to...
out. The courts would deal with it.
Yeah, but like
that's why you got courts. I can't give you an exact answer on that. That's kind of up.
Well,
to the
yeah,
courts.
because but what if the company disagrees with the courts? What if they think the court's being unreasonable?
Well, then that's why you have insurance. Then they would hire a private security or arbitration.
But wait, wouldn't that private arbitration be forceful?
If the private security would be.
The private security would be, but the private arbitration is just like.
So basically, what
at the end of the day,
arbitration,
you
all they do is make a decision. Private security is the one that enforces decision. The insurance company is the ones that pay them based on the damage that the courts decides. So basically, me and you would both have insurance companies, kind of like with car insurance. Crash into my car, cause damage, then pay me, or it would come out of the insurance. You have to pay the insurance, or they would just raise your rate.
It's kind of funny how Ancaps will be like, you have the right to your property, except you only have the right to your property if you can afford it. Like, that feels kind of.
I never said. Well, I believe you have the right to your property regardless of whether or not somebody is able to take it from you.
But
so, for instance, if somebody comes up to you and robs you,
and I don't have it insured, then.
Just because somebody can rob you doesn't mean that I don't believe that you don't have the right to be protected. I just don't believe you have the right to rob people in order to pay for your protection.
But I wouldn't be protected.
Yeah, but again, just because I don't believe that you don't have the right to rob someone in order to protect you does not mean I don't have the right to should be protected.
Except that's what you're saying, though.
No. If I say, okay, so let's say I come up to you and I say, hey, you pay me protection. Don't pay me, I'm gonna shoot you. And if you don't, basically,
I don't think you can get the death penalty for tax evasion in the United States.
Okay, well then I'll kidnap you and toss you into a cage. Okay? Is that better? If you don't pay me for protection, I'm gonna toss you in a cage, and then you'll be like, okay, fine, don't shoot me. And then I'd be like, damn, that's really messed up. And then you come up to me, man, this is how I say, oh man, I don't think this is how it should be. I think maybe shouldn't be forced. Well, then I guess you don't believe in protecting property rights, because if you don't have somebody forcing you to pay into our system to protect other people's property rights, then I guess you don't believe in property rights. It's like, I believe in property rights.
Yeah.
But I don't think people should be robbed in order to pay for it.
Yeah, if the person who is robbing me for protection is otherwise unable to afford protection, then they don't have protection for their property rights. Like, you can't get around that.
So that makes it okay for you to rob? Well, you're not protecting. Robbing is wrong, right?
robbing isn't ontologically wrong. It's
Well, no.
wrong
Okay,
in
so
most...
then I guess you don't believe in property rights.
Well, what do you... Well, you're the... I'm... Sorry.
So wait, do you not believe in property rights?
Property is a construct. There have been countless societies throughout history that don't have property rights. Like, don't have the same...
Every system, every society has property rights to a certain degree. Just how you decide who has what property rights is different.
I'm pretty sure, like, the Aboriginal Australians, like, just didn't believe that people could own shit, like,
Okay,
at all.
so you didn't have the right to use your body? In Aboriginal countries, they said you're not allowed to use your body.
What do you mean you're not allowed to use your body?
Your body is your property.
Well,
they at least believed in self-ownership, right?
I think there are many people who don't believe in self-ownership. I believe in self-ownership. If you wanna...
Okay, so you believe in self-ownership, right? And you believe in property rights.
Yeah, I believe that you have the right to bodily autonomy. Correct.
And you believe in property rights, right?
I believe you have the right to your own bodily autonomy. I don't think that.
But you believe in property rights and external resources, right?
External resources.
Your phone. If I came up to you and snatched your phone out of your hand right now, would you say, well, that's okay?
I think in most cases that's bad. But
okay.
if
why?
I really if the
why?
What?
Why is that bad?
Well, I think in a society
phone,
where
right?
Dude, hold on. If you're on a desert island, hold on, this is no coconuts involved on this island, alright?
Okay.
And I have a cell phone, and this other guy says, "Hey, I want your cell phone," and he grabs the cell phone. He steals the cell phone from me, and I say, "Hey, you can't take the cell phone. That's my cell phone." And he says, "Nah, it's
You're
mine
still
now."
the owner, right, of your phone? He's just an
How?
unjust possessor.
How is it? How am I the owner?
Because you
By
got
what?
it through consensual...
Arbitrated by
Wait,
what?
did
By
you get
what
your phone? How
authority?
did you get your phone? You bought it, right?
Yeah, I bought it.
So you got it through consensual means, so that would make you the owner under my act.
Okay, but
it doesn't matter if somebody.
Ethic.
It doesn't matter if
like,
somebody stole your phone.
If
you
I'm
would
the
still
only,
be the owner.
if he is the only other person on Earth, and there's no other person.
Wait. So okay, so if I ran up to you and I snatched your cell phone from your hand and I ran off, you would say, "Oh, I guess I'm not the owner of my phone anymore." You would say, "It's not my phone anymore. It's yours now."
No. I would probably have objections to that.
Okay, so you would say it's still your phone.
If the rubber,
you would still
if the
believe it's
rubber
your
was
phone.
the
right?
only other person on Earth, then I would believe that, but
hold on, listen
he
to
wouldn't.
Me. Listen to me.
It would be.
I'm not asking you what
It's
he
no
believes.
objective property.
Listen to me. I'm asking you what you believe. So, if I came up to you and I snatched your phone out of your hand and I ran off, would you say, "Huh? I guess you're not your phone. I guess it's not my phone anymore."
No. I would say it was. I would.
You would say.
With
You would
that
say,
guy.
"Oh my God, that guy stole my phone. He has my phone."
Fortunately,
right?
yeah. Fortunately.
So you would say
our glorious state doesn't.
No. Stop. Answer the question. You're avoiding the question. If
yes,
I came up to you and I snatched your phone and I ran away from you, would you just say, "Oh, well, I guess it's his phone now"?
No.
Wait, what would you say? You would say, "Oh my God, that guy has my phone," right?
Sure. Yes. Okay.
So even though that guy stole your phone, you still believe that that phone is yours, right?
I believe that. Yes.
Okay. So that's how property rights work under my perspective. So, right? Because I believe in property rights, it doesn't matter if somebody snatches my phone, snatches my property. right? It's still my property. I believe in property rights. Now, if you're saying, oh, if you don't have a way to protect it, then someone could steal your property. I don't disagree with that. Obviously, we live in the real world. Anyone can take your phone. But that's not going to change whether or not I believe that's still my phone or not, right?
It might not change what you believe is your phone, but in practice, it won't be your phone anymore if you never use
No.
it again,
You don't
or
you don't believe that.
come in contact
You
with
don't
it.
even believe that. Do we have to go back to the other example again? Because you don't even believe that. You don't. Let's just be honest. You don't. Okay, so
Hold
let me
on.
go over the
Yeah.
example again. Let's say I came up to you and I snatched your phone. Would you say, oh, I guess it's his phone? Or would you say, oh my god, that guy took my phone. He has my phone.
Hold on, do you believe... Okay, well, hang on.
It's a
Do you
very
believe-
simple yes or no. Come on, let's just be good faith here. I'm not trying to catch you in a gotcha, I promise.
Yes, I believe that it is still my phone.
Okay, so we
Yes,
both
you are the
okay.
rightful
It's
owner of
still
the
you're
phone.
still the owner of the phone. So even though someone could take
In
your
my
phone,
mind, sure, but if no one else agrees with
No,
me,
objectively,
then...
it's
no.
still your phone.
I
Just because you
understand.
do not possess it
Hold
does
on.
not mean
We
it's yours.
both agree. Let's get this out of the way. Me and you both agree that people could take your phone and run away, right? We both agree with this.
Yes.
People have the ability to snatch your phone, snatch your property, kill you, and violate your rights, right?
Yes.
Okay, but nonetheless, me and you believe in property rights, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you say, oh, but someone could snatch your phone, and you don't believe in a state to protect that phone, so that means you don't believe in property rights. That obviously is not true, correct? Because I still believe in property rights, even if someone could take someone's phone.
You still believe in property rights, but I think in practice they wouldn't exist.
No, they still exist regardless of how people behave.
Property rights could still exist without a state, correct? You don't need a state in order to have property.
Well, yes, because yes, if the majority of people agreed that respected people's property rights, then sure, but...
Okay, and we had,
Doesn't
let's say
matter
we
what the
had,
majority thinks. What is your
hypothetically...
way of thinking, bro?
Sorry, Cameron, go ahead. I interrupted.
Majority of people can believe in slavery. Doesn't legitimize slavery. People have legitimized slavery in the past, democratically. Oh, we're okay with slavery. And the state legitimizes it. Did not make slavery okay. It still meant slavery was illegitimate. Property rights are still exist. People still owned their bodies back then when people were enslaved. Doesn't matter how people behave, whether they violate your rights.
Well, no. It is a fact that slaves did not own their bodies.
No, they still did. It's just that people chose to violate their rights. They said, "No, you don't own
No,
your
they
body."
didn't own
So,
their
They still
bodies. They
did.
didn't own their
Hold on.
bodies.
What
What the legal
Cameron is
system
trying to-
said does not
Should have been
matter.
own their
Hold on.
bodies, but they didn't.
On paper,
When they were slaves.
on paper, the state owned, or the slave owner owned, quote unquote, owned that slave on paper, but we don't agree with them. We don't have
Yeah,
the
you
same
disagree with
property.
them.
We don't have the same
But by what-
property.
by
Hold
what?
on, hear me out. We don't have the same property ethic as them. We don't believe that human beings can be owned by another person. We don't believe it's possible because, like, I don't know if I explained this to you the other day. You can't really sell yourself. So, from our perspective, right, and what Cameron was trying to say is that, yeah, on paper, those people are owned by another person, but it doesn't change. From our perspective, that person is still the owner of themselves. What's going on is that their rights are being violated. That's what's going on.
Just like how this is exactly like how the
Okay,
phone
that's
scenario.
like your
Person who owns the
There was
phone
no
still owns it
objective
regardless of
property
whether it's
ethic.
stolen.
Yeah, so like if the same thing like with your phone example, just exactly what he just said. If I came up to you and I snatched your phone right out of your hand, you wouldn't just be like, "Oh, well, he took my phone. I mean, his phone. It's his phone now." You would be like, "Oh my god, that guy took my phone." The reason why is because even though that guy took your phone, you're basically saying, well, that it's still my phone because I paid for it. I am the owner. So
Possession does not equal ownership. Might does not make right.
yeah.
Hold on.
It
Hold
is
on.
erroneous to
If-
claim as much.
Hold on. KingSithis, alright. So you say you own your phone. Why do you own your phone?
Because I got it through Just Me. I have not
You know, most of
violated
the-
anyone's
a lot of the
rights in order
components-
to gain
You know,
my
a lot of the
phones.
you know, a lot of the components in your phone were made through like slavery.
Did I do that?
No, you didn't. But the
So
phone
I'm
was
not
not
responsible.
produced through Just Means.
No.
What do you mean you're not responsible?
Did I enslave
You-
those people?
No, you. No,
Okay,
no,
so
you
then
didn't.
I-
But you gave.
Did
the-
I
but you
do
gave the
anything
enslavers money.
to any
Fine.
other person?
You gave them enslavers money and
No.
money that they.
Wait.
you
I
gave them
went to
money.
a slaver and I told them to enslave someone?
You gave them money that they will most definitely use to enslave someone. If you go
Yeah,
to a
wait.
slaver and give them a,
Did I
if you-
tell
if-
them
if-
to
if- if-
use my money to enslave somebody?
if you walk past a slaver and they have a donations box and you put $100.
Wait.
in
That's
the
not what's going on
donation
here.
box,
That's not what's
that
going
is
on here.
exactly what's going on.
No.
there.
Well, let's say there's a slaver, and he's selling a crayon, and you buy the crayon from him. Are you violating anyone's rights?
Was the crayon made via slavery?
Say it was. Are you violating anyone's rights? No, obviously not.
No.
The answer is
hold on,
no,
hold
you
on,
didn't
hold on,
initiate
hold on,
You're
hold
not
on, hold on.
violating anyone's rights in that transaction.
You did not violate. You did not violate. When the property changed from their hand to your hand, it did not. You did not violate anyone's rights.
Okay,
But
I didn't violate anyone's
why,
right.
Why is you buying that property just if that property in the slaver's hands is being in the slaver's hands?
Hold on. What that person
should
did
have
to
that
that other
property.
person is unjust, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But because
Did
the
I
property,
tell that person to do that to that other person?
I'm not talking about I'm
No,
not
just
talking about
hold on,
your,
just follow it down the trail. So, what that person did was unjust, right? Obviously.
yes, what that person did.
Did I tell that
Obvious.
person to do that?
You didn't tell them to.
Was I? No, okay.
do it.
Obviously, I didn't tell them to do
Obvious-
that.
Yeah.
Did I
obviously you
play
didn't
a
tell them
part
to.
in making them do that?
Yes, you did. But
No, because
that's
it was
beside
after the
point.
fact.
What do you mean it was after the fact? They're gonna keep
The crayon
having your
is
phone.
already made. It's already made. The phone is already made.
But you're giving the company money.
You're buying
to
the
do
phone
slavery.
after it's made, right?
Yes, but
Okay, so
you're
then
still-
you
why
didn't
was the
play
phone
any-
made?
by
So
doing
you
what you're
didn't
doing.
you didn't really play a part in them doing that, right?
You did. They
No,
wouldn't
you
be able to
didn't.
do it if
You weren't there.
If they didn't have any customers, they wouldn't be doing slavery. You are playing a part.
I
in them doing
understand
slavery.
that. I understand that. And I don't know. I'm not saying that what they're doing is just. Obviously, people enslaving people in other countries, but is immoral and it's evil and they're responsible that they should be charged. But what I'm saying is, me buying a cell phone from that company, that doesn't make me responsible. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't do nothing. And if that was true, then
But you
that
think
would
it's
make
just-
all of
do you
us
think it-
responsible for
do you
all the
think it
crimes
is
in
just-
all the world.
Before you buy the phone, do you think it is just that the company owns the phone?
Well, the thing is, that has nothing to do with me. Because I don't know.
No.
So,
Go down. Please go down this track. Is it unjust that the company owns the phones that were made through slavery?
it depends on how they got it.
Well, they got it through slavery.
So, for instance, okay, it depends on what you mean. So, is that company going to that country and enslaving people and forcing them to build cell phones? is Samsung literally
hold
going
on, hold
to these
on.
countries and forcing people to go?
I don't think Samsung is, but we can take this
Well,
all
I have
the
a
way down the
Samsung
production
phone,
line.
so that's why
Okay,
I'm using Samsung.
we can take this. We can take this all the way down the production line then. Okay. What about the Cobalt Mine in Africa where they actually are doing the slavery?
Okay,
all right.
so that
and
company,
then the chip
that's a separate
manufacturing
company, right?
and
That
then
makes that company.
yes, that's a separate company. And then
So
Taiwan.
then,
chip,
if
and
I,
then,
that, so
and
let's
then,
say if Samsung buys batteries from that company, Samsung responsible for that?
Hold on. Okay. Then Taiwan Chip Manufacturing Co. buys the cobalt from the slaving company, which they do.
How does this make me responsible?
I'm not. We'll get to you in a second. Just bear with me. Bear with me. It is unjust that the cobalt mine owns the cobalt. It is illegitimate property because it was explicitly.
They illegitimately own it.
Slavery. They legitimately own the
Let's
slave
assume they
cobalt?
are illegitimate owners or what? Now
Yeah,
what?
they're illegitimate owners.
Okay. Now what?
You can't buy if you buy something that's from someone else that's illegitimately owned. That doesn't suddenly make you the legitimate owner. It's still
the
illegitimate.
possessor is assumed to be the owner unless you have evidence that they make it. So unless somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey,
But you have
I'm the
evidence,
owner
but
of that
you
cell phone,"
but
or
there's
the
evidence
cobalt
of
in that cell phone, well then, as far as I could tell, I'm not violating anyone's rights by buying them.
There's plenty of evidence that the production lines.
Okay, but how am I responsible?
slavery.
Okay, but you got to give me the answer. How am I responsible? I wasn't there. I didn't tell them to do that.
Because
I'm not forcing any kids to make coal. But how am I responsible?
Because when the property changed hands from you to Samsung,
and you do realize this property
Samsung,
doesn't exchange hands from just one company to another company. It exchanges hands from many different.
I know. In all instances, at the end of the day, the property was initially exchanged hands through an illegitimate property.
Okay. But am I violating anyone's rights by buying it?
The components.
No,
some of the
I'm not violating anyone's rights. Who am I harming?
Wait, are you a utilitarian now? Do you?
No, it's not about utilitarian.
About
whose rights have I violated? I'm not violating anyone's rights by buying a phone.
A phone made from slavery.
If that was true, then everyone would be violating everyone's rights if so long as their thing came from someone who violated another person's rights. But I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't believe that is because the person who buys something from another company, it doesn't matter how that thing was made, as long as you're not violating anyone's rights in that transaction, which I'm not, then you're not responsible for that thing. The person who's responsible for that violation is the person who committed that right.
Okay, hold on. I'll get back to you in like 2 minutes. My room is very hot and my mouth is very dry. I just need to.
It's okay.
I think this kind of.
Nah,
I don't know.
I disagree. The reason why is like, let's say, for
Wait,
instance.
I was going to make a point. Hold on. I have an interesting point.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's like sort of an analogy. Remember how earlier you guys were talking about like I guess this was sort of like related to externalities such as pollution, where it's like, can you hold companies responsible for polluting and causing measurable harm to people, right? And you sort of said yes, depending, right? If you can prove a company's responsible. But then the question becomes, are the people who pay these companies, who buy products from these companies, fund these companies, say voluntarily, are they responsible for the company's pollution as well?
No,
Can you
because
hold
they're not the one. So
then I think that's an
you're not
issue
the one
for.
burning the coal.
I think that's an issue for J. Yeah, I agree. I think that's an issue for JR's position, because then you kind of have to hold every single consumer responsible for the actions of the companies they buy from, which would obviously be absurd when applied to things like pollution.
Yeah, because you don't. The thing is, right? Like, for instance, let's say I don't know. Let's say I had a friend of mine or something like that, and he had a gun, and I don't know, like he shot a guy and then stole his wallet. And I saw that he has a nice wallet, and I'm like, hey, can I buy that wallet from you? Or something that he stole. And then he says, yeah, sure. But I don't know that he did all of that. I don't really know the situation. Like,
Yeah, you might not know.
Am I responsible for that? Like,
hold on. In that's actually a very good analogy. You might not know, but in the case of the phone, you do know. The information is.
well, I don't know
known.
actually.
Well, you.
I mean,
I
for
know.
his phone, he doesn't know.
I know that in general there is in countries, right? Like Africa, there are companies that do slavery, right? But do I know who is responsible for committing the crime against which person when I buy every single thing that I buy? Absolutely not.
If you buy a phone, if you buy a watch from like the what's an apt analogy?
A watch?
Well, you said a watch, right?
A watch. Let's just use the watch as a good example. So my analogy was basically like, let's say some guy shoots a guy and takes his watch, and I see a guy with a nice watch, and I'd be like, hey, can I buy that watch from you? And then let's say he tells me he shot the guy for the watch, and then I buy it from him anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not violating anyone's rights by doing that.
I mean, I think someone could have a legitimate claim against you, whoever might be if there is now another owner of the watch, they could have a claim against you. I don't think you necessarily didn't need...
Yeah. No, go ahead. You were saying the right thing.
I don't think you necessarily initiate any force or conflict with anyone simply by buying the watch in that example. And that extends for like all sorts of different transactions you can think of.
So, do you think that
let's say the guy who
was
the
enslaved
owner
in that robot mine has like a case against your phone?
Maybe if he could
potentially
prove the only way
at least to the components in your phone that maybe your labor created.
The only
if
way.
If it's very convenient for you,
hold on. Let me answer the question. So the only way to do that is to basically prove that the cobalt that was stolen from that person who was the owner of that thing was directly stolen from my phone directly. If they could prove that, well then yeah, they could take my cobalt.
Do you support reparations for slaves, by any chance?
They're alive. Owner is person who owned pay the reparation.
Or who purported to own them. They didn't really own them.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear because you cannot own another person like that. That's
I actually wasn't about to gotcha on that, but like
I had to call that out.
It's okay, it's okay. Don't worry. We're just autistic.
Well,
not actually autistic, but we're just you know what I mean. Figuratively. But the thing is, like, you're not initially like a transaction in itself is not a right. It's
okay, but what about like generationally? Like, what if
intergenerational?
Depends on what you.
Yeah,
depends on the situation.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, okay, for example, do you think that like debt can be inherited? Do you think that that's like an okay thing?
No, that's absurd.
No.
That's ludicrous. That's
ludicrous.
That's retarded. Doesn't make any sense. You didn't do anything.
For instance,
okay, that's actually I thought you would like say some psychotic shit on that. along that lines, but I'm glad you don't.
No, a
actually-
person's
no,
debt
we
is
believe-
their
we
debt.
believe
That's
in,
not your debt.
we're individuals. We don't believe in like nonsense like you inherit the debt. You didn't choose to take up the debt.
But you can inherit a person's house. So if they pass it down to you, so like if they pass down their but they would have to do it before they died, like in a will.
Currently in law, right? If you don't specify in a will, it goes to your next immediate descendant. Correct.
Under libertarian law, it would if there's no express.
Under current American law, that's the case.
I'm not.
Under
I don't know.
Wait,
but
what is the case?
Under libertarian law, it would go to whomever you said it should go to, and if there is no person whom you've said it should go to, then it would just go to the commons, which would mean the first person who grabs it.
Well, whoever can homestead it, appropriate it, then yeah, they would be the become the
Wait,
owner.
so does that mean that? Does that mean that I can kill someone and take their shit and then it belongs to me?
No,
I might be like, I might
No.
like be guilty of murder, but like, I still.
Well,
own
do
their
they have
shit
any heirs?
Because that's a separate.
It would
crime.
not belong to you, because.
But you just said that it doesn't matter if they have heirs.
Well, somebody else can homestead because another person can homestead the right to restitution, because when you violate another person's rights, you've created a right of restitution. And somebody else can homestead that right after you died.
Who
So,
decides
for instance,
what
if
these
you
rights are? Like, we've already, like, obviously, I disagree with you on
us
these.
human beings. We come up with these rights. That's what.
But like, there are many human beings who disagree with you. There are many human beings.
Okay,
for
that's
example,
not
that
going to
think
change my
taxation is
mind.
fine.
Not going to change.
I know
we
it's not
went
going to
over
change
this
your
already.
mind, but if society requires that, like,
Well, I'm trying to change others' mind.
yeah, but like you acknowledge, right, that an Ancap society could only work if like a majority of people respected libertarian ethics, correct?
At
Like,
least
they
enough
believe in it.
enough to make the difference.
Which would probably be a majority. I don't think
that's
a
true of any
minority
system,
of
right?
people believe it. Yeah, of course. Of course. The problem is, well, even that, there are millions of people in like the United States today who don't believe in like democracy or
Well, but there's enough to make the difference.
that might change, but yeah. Right now.
I mean, once that
sure.
changes, maybe it'll change. But as of right now, as far as I can tell, most people are okay with the state. I argue with people every day that are okay with it.
Okay, but
I mean, if most people disagreed with like the system in America, they probably would like be changing.
Yeah.
Something
The
that
Constitution is just a piece of paper.
Libertarians
Like, it's not gonna make people. The only thing that makes
like
the Constitution relevant
libertarians,
is
like
people... Sorry.
like yeah, true ANCAP libertarians, are like politically irrelevant, like currently, like
because it's new. It's
how
kind
do
of new.
you? Is it new?
I mean, it's fairly. Rothbard coined it in like the 70s. The term
It's
anarcho-capitalist.
new in comparison to other ideologies. Let's see.
It's yeah.
Well, yeah, 70s.
I mean, obviously, new ideologies come out every day, but I would say in comparison to most other ideologies, I would say ANCAP is pretty. There's not many people who even believe that it's real. I mean, for a year ago, I didn't even know. I've been a libertarian for years, and I didn't know about ANCAP until like a year.
Right. What's the difference though? Because like whenever you talk to like a libertarian, they want Ancapistan. They just disagree with like the.
Not all libertarians.
Well, most libertarians
Libertarians
are.
want to state.
Oh,
Most libertarians. Oh no, I was just saying most libertarians are not anarchists, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, so most
Or white
anarchists,
libertarians.
they believe in what we call like a minarchist, or like a night watchman state, or a minimal state. You know what I mean? They believe in they believe that the state should cover like the courts, the military, and the police. you know, and maybe some stuff other than that, maybe like schools and stuff like that. But they, other than that, you know, they're against things like welfare and stuff like that. Um, but I mean, there are some libertarians that do support a little bit, but generally like very minimal or very limited. You know, the general idea of a libertarian, like a softy, a normal, like a little L libertarian, like a normie libertarian, I should say, not ANCAP libertarian, normie libertarian, I should say. They're more for like limited government. Um, they believe very strongly in limited government. How limited it should be generally differs from each person, but
The difference between the difference between libertarians and ANCAPs is that libertarians believe in a stable society and ANCAPs don't. Good to know.
oh,
No, the thing is that non-anarchist, like right libertarians, so meaning libertarians on the right, are inconsistent because they still support the state, even though they claim to, be in favor of property rights generally. Then they
Because they
continue to
believe
still support the state, which violates rights necessarily.
Because they believe that the state is still necessary to ensure that the system of property rights still exists at all.
but the state violates property rights.
It's an untenable position, because of what
It's inconsistent to say that you believe in property rights, but then say, "Hey, we need to violate property rights."
Property rights is a fundamentally property rights can only exist through force. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, in the sense that you need force.
Well, if you're saying that property rights can't, so then you're essentially saying property rights can't exist.
Well, property rights is a negative right. You don't need force in order to have a property right.
Well, a right is only real if there are consequences for violating it, and in your society, that doesn't actually seem to be.
If you get raped, did you not have the right to not be raped?
Like, if there's no consequence for your rapist, does that mean that they'd had the right to rape you?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
But yes, there's a difference between like ethical rights and like actual and legal rights.
Well, we believe in the legally. We believe in the NAP.
If you get raped, and if there are no consequences for your rapist, then you might ethically believe that you shouldn't have raped and they didn't have the right to do that. But if there were no consequences for them, then in practice, they got.
Yeah, but do you think that under ANCAP and unpracticed, there would be no way to protect property rights? Like, it would be.
Regardless,
I don't think there would. I don't.
Regardless of what happens, regardless of if your rights are violated, your rights still existed. If someone violates you, they didn't have the right to do it just because they may get away with it. It doesn't make sense to say. I don't think it makes sense to say that.
Yeah,
say what you're saying.
The same thing with like the phone example that we gave earlier.
So this is very silly though. Like, you're saying that like, you would be you would be like in Ancapistan and like have a guy like holding a gun to your face saying, "Get the fuck off this house. This is mine now," and saying, actually, according to the NAP," and then you'd fucking die.
It doesn't matter. No, you want to say that?
Agree with us on this. You do realize this, right? You agree with us on this, right?
You can have ethical ideals, but
okay,
I'm sure
but you agree with ethics too. Like, you
to
can't sit here and just say,
like,
hold on, hear me out. You saying, oh, well, somebody could come up to you and just kill you, and you could just say rape is wrong. Well, yeah, but that's not gonna stop you from believing that rape is wrong, right?
Oh no!
Like, clearly you think rape is wrong.
You can believe whatever you want, but like, unfortunately, we live in the real world where like things can happen.
We believe
you can't create a system where there are consequences for people doing the wrong thing.
But we
then,
have.
Like, whatever you believe is morally wrong is.
But we
meaningless.
have. We just believe in privatizing it.
Explain how
if
rights enforcement and ANCAP would work.
Rights enforcement?
Yeah.
So you would pay to a private security, or not a private security, most likely an insurance company, and it would be like you go to an insurance company and you'd be like, "Hey, I want to insure my life," my property against violent crimes or whatever. And they'll be like,
How
all
much
right,
would you say that? What would you like expect that to cost?
I don't know.
The
So
free market
actually,
will
so
decide that.
here's, I'm gonna give you a little bit of an estimate. If you took every single, they say, I think, now, you don't hold me too much on this because I read I don't really know the study that they got this from. It basically said that if you took every single person and then divided up the amount of money it costs policing the United States, it would cost like around $30 to $40 per person. Pay for the
Okay, and that sounds
So-
good in theory, but I think that
if you were to split, let's say
think
if you
that,
were to split that odd between and privatize it and then have private companies between each other, companies competing with prices, I would expect it to be a lot cheaper.
you expect to be able to protect your rights for $10 a year?
Or like $10 a month. For $10 a
Like
month.
home insurance, $10 a month. Home insurance right now, like on the free market, costs way more than a $10
Yeah,
a
because
month.
of all
Because
of
the
these
government
laws.
makes it more expensive.
Yeah, because of all of these
Why
zoning laws
everything
and
bad about capitalism is because actually the government. I know, it's terrible.
yeah,
No,
but
it's
it's
not about
true. But
capitalism,
it's
it's about-
true.
it's about
I know, but
It's
I know you
only
think that, but like
capitalism.
you just say that, but you can't
But
like
it's true.
demonstrate how.
Hold on, you want me to demonstrate? Wait, what do you want me to demonstrate? What do you want us to demonstrate?
Yeah, we can demonstrate why
Why
regulation's
insurance is expensive? Why insurance is why insurance? If it weren't for the fact laws exist, insurance would be $10, which is what you're claiming.
Well,
bad. Insurance.
it's not just that it.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, you
All
go.
insurance
I
for
mean,
all of your property would be $10 a month.
I don't know
That's what
necessarily
you're
whether that
claiming.
would be true.
I
That
don't
would be
think
dictated
that's
by
not
the
true.
market.
I don't think it would be exactly $10. Obviously, I'm exaggerating.
I know, but that's kind of
I don't,
what,
I
that's
don't,
sort
I
of
don't
what
actually
you're
know
claiming.
how much it would actually cost. I'll be
Okay,
honest.
fine, $40 a month, and if it's any more expensive than like
we can't know exactly how much it would cost. Let's just
Yeah.
put. I don't think we can. Let's just put it like that for now.
Yeah. All we
Um,
can say is
but-
that like if you want protection, that shit is not free. Most likely, and if they're not gonna, private security agencies aren't just gonna overcharge. They're gonna have to charge what it costs. They're gonna have to charge generally the amount of as to what people are willing to pay. If not, they're not gonna get any customers. But what you will expect is, they would have to charge enough to make a profit, and enough, and then below the amount, like below the amount other companies are charging, that they can scoop up the market share. I don't know. It depends on the situation. But I mean, if you want, I could send you a YouTube video that explains.
Hold on. I feel like saying I don't have the answers, but if you just watch this YouTube video and then accept everything in it uncritically, then like then everything will be.
I don't think I would
No,
agree with that.
obviously,
Then, like,
I'm
I
not
feel like it's
telling
kind
you
of a cop-out.
that. I'm not telling you
The
that.
general-
I was just
the
trying to. I was just. Yeah, bro.
The idea is that the government inhibits the market, it distorts it, it puts restrictions and regulations on it. And when you remove the government, or even when you just remove regulations and whatnot, you will have more competition because competitors will be more easily able to enter some given market, right? Like when it comes to, say, rights enforcement. And when you have more competition, you will tend to see prices decrease. So that's the
There
idea.
is no law, there is no regulation that makes anti-competitive price gouging happen.
Price that does not.
What's wrong with price gouging?
Price gouging doesn't work anymore.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, if you're like a big retail chain, and you
If the
lower
supply of something is
and-
really low, right, and the demand of something is really high, well then yeah, sometimes you have to raise your prices.
Sorry, not price gouging. What's
When you talk about, do you want to talk about
You're
predatory?
talking about price cutting or price undercutting?
price undercutting? Yeah.
What's wrong with price undercutting? That's good. You want that in a market.
Well, except it basically enforces monopolies because every time, what big retail chains will do is every time when they have a regional monopoly in a town, every time a new independent competitor comes up, they'll cut the prices on everything in their stores so that the
Talk about economies of scale.
and it might not be it might be yeah, economies of scale are part of it, but they might run the shop at a loss, but ultimately it works for them in the long run if they can operate at a loss long enough that the other company goes out of business because they can't compete with their prices because they're just starting.
Assuming that there's nothing stopping a company, then what you would see is companies popping up just to get bought out. Then what would eventually happen is every single time they buy out one company,
I'm not talking about buying out companies. I'm talking about undercutting their prices.
But the problem
yeah,
is
undercutting them to
companies
the point where they can't compete.
The problem is companies eventually they can't take advantage of economies of scale for too long, because eventually there's economies of scale and then there's diseconomies. When you grow too large, that you start to, as you grow even larger, you start to become more inefficient because you have to basically keep
But there
account of more
seems
and
to
more
be
things.
in
But
the
the thing
current
is,
system,
hold on.
in our current
I'm gonna
world
explain
economy,
it.
that
I'm gonna
doesn't seem
explain.
to be a
I'm
limit.
going to explain. I'm going to explain. So, as how it is right now, a lot of these companies, what they do when they get to the point of diseconomies of scale, they as opposed to just going out of business and scaling down, what they do, because there's other companies that are able to outcompete them, they go to the state and they put a bunch of laws, regulations, making it even more expensive for other companies to compete with them. So that basically makes it so that it forces people to only be able to buy from them.
Or they get subsidies. Sorry, I just want to make this point. Or
Yeah, go
they
ahead.
get subsidies, or they get the government to like impose. They convince the government to like impose tariffs in order to restrict competition, help them sell their products or whatever. You see this like in the agricultural industry, especially. You've seen this historically, like in America.
That's why a lot of these companies are able to stay large despite this scale, because they could force their competitors out of the market using everybody's.
Yeah, they can get
forced to buy
special
from them.
privileges as well.
Yeah, and then everybody's forced to buy from them, and even though they're large, and it would be more efficient for a bunch of smaller companies to do the job.
In the current,
because the state stomps out their competitors, they could just keep going.
In the current economy, there's nothing stopping any small.
There is.
Any little guy. There's nothing. Okay, there might be some.
Except for a million
that might
regulations.
affect some.
Many industries.
There's a lot of it.
A lot of regulations are literally just involve you can't put cyanide in your bread. Like there are some that create additional costs, but a lot of them don't. Like
dude, it's not simply just don't fucking put cyanide in your bread. They'll literally tell you how to run your whole business. Like it's ridiculous. All you need to do is just look up how many regulations are created every single day, and it's
but most of those regulations are just
small
don't put cyanide in the bread.
Pages and books of thousands of books that you have to follow, and if you don't follow, and if the government finds out that you go out that you missed any of these rules, then they'll sue you, and then you have to pay restitution, basically breaking them. And that costs a lot of money, businesses. And that could put businesses out of business. Like, okay, so for instance, here's an example.
It's also like.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just gonna say like, one example of different laws and regulations that don't pertain to don't put cyanide in the bread, trying to protect people, consumers, whatever, relates to like minimum wage laws and relates to price control, such as rent control. Which it's not about don't fucking put cyanide in the bread, those kind of things. It's about no, you're not allowed to, as an employee, work for whatever wage you want. You're not, and as a landlord, you're not allowed to charge however much you want.
True.
Uh,
Also,
for
there
your
was
product.
this woman
I
that
think
she was
it's,
a hair braider, and they, because of occupational licensing laws, they said that she is not allowed to run a business braiding hair because she didn't have a cosmetology license. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, and then that's even worse when it comes to healthcare. Like you have to be licensed to be a doctor, nurse, etc.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's pretty easy. There's a reason why crank doctors are like bad. Like,
What if I'm okay with the
healthcare.
People
doctor?
should be able to buy services from whatever doctors they'd like.
Yeah. What if I'm okay with that doctor?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they provide these services. You don't have the right to tell people they can't buy what they'd like to buy.
That's like saying you shouldn't be allowed to buy a cheap cell phone. Oh, because you're not getting as good services. It's just like, yeah, but what if I'm okay with buying it cheap?
Or low quality
The
food.
problem is
Not
that
very
the
nutritional food.
problem is that people will always be incentivized to cut as many costs as they can.
That should be their
And,
choice. They should have that choice, because some people are
but
in
if
tough
people-
situations.
Yes, but if people are always if people are allowed to cut as many costs as they want, then eventually they're going to cut costs that
Not
People should
necessarily.
bear the people should. I mean, not
Well, there are
necessarily, but people should
instances
bear the
where it does
consequences of
happen.
their
There
own
are
actions.
instances- Well, not if it's not my own actions, though.
I mean, if somebody
Yeah.
else is
What if they
responsible
put-
for
what if-
your own
what if they
right,
put a-
I mean, what
what
do
if
you
they
mean?
put us like it's in
There-
the
we
60s, it
believe
was-
in fraud.
it-
Like we believe we're against fraud.
Yeah, but it's like in days gone past, it was pretty hard to find a house that didn't have, like, say, asbestos in the ceiling. And we banned asbestos, and now you don't have to worry about asbestos poisoning in your house.
Yeah, but here's the issue. What about we ban a whole bunch of drugs, right? That any new drug that comes out needs to go through millions and millions of dollars of regulatory testing in order to get on the market. Let's say there's this new drug.
Hold on.
Let's say there's this like new drug that that could save say $40,000, say 40,000 people every single year over the next 5 years, right? Say 200,000 people, but for 5 years they held it back for testing. That's 200,000 people that are dead that could have been alive, right? But are not alive because they held back a drug that they could have used, but they weren't allowed to use.
Why weren't they allowed to use it?
Well, because it's illegal.
Hold on.
Because you have to
There's a
follow all the
reason-
state's rules when it comes to how you develop your drugs.
Yeah, if you don't
When you
have like
distribute them and whatnot.
Yeah.
So therefore companies aren't able to put them out as easily. Their products, their drugs, for example.
There's a reason why that exists.
what if I'm
though.
okay with
You
it?
can- What do you mean? What if you're okay with it? You might not. If you don't go through all the processes, you don't know what the consequences of taking the drug
I should be allowed to make that choice.
Yeah.
Used to give cocaine to people.
I think cocaine should be legal.
Someone wants to buy cocaine.
You think
they're-
cocaine should be legal?
I think
Have you
all
ever done
drugs should be
cocaine?
legal. All drugs should be legal.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You have the right to consume whatever drug you want. As an
It's my
adult.
body. If I want to put
Do you have the right to kill yourself?
cocaine in my ass,
Do you
I
have
should
the
be
right to
allowed
kill
to.
yourself?
Absolutely.
Do you
You
have
guys
the right
don't
to
know
sell
what
yourself
you
into
guys
slavery?
are talking about.
Yeah.
We
It's not possible.
Why?
you
What's the
can't-
difference?
Because you can't sell your body. Your body is a immutable.
Wait, no sex
Can't-
work?
Well, you could have sex, but you're just letting somebody use your body. That's not selling yourself.
I
did
know. I
with
was
cocaine
making
right now.
a joke, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was it was a
I
point
hope
of,
so. I
like,
would hope so, because I explained this to you the other day, and I feel like. But
That was a while ago. We haven't talked in a while, actually.
no, that's okay.
Um,
But basically, the short of the long of the short is your body is an immutable thing. You can't like give it to another person. You could let somebody use your body, but you're still the owner of your body. Well, for instance, if somebody has sex with your body, you're still the owner of your body. You're just letting someone use it. And yes, I believe prostitution could be legal. And sex for rent.
What if? Hold on, wait.
Also, slavery is forced labor, so you can't like choose to be forced to labor.
Yeah,
right?
you can't
Like,
choose to be a
point,
slave.
If I say, "Oh, I'm going to sell myself into slavery," but at any point after that contract is written up or whatever with my new slaver, they try and make me do something I don't want to do, which is what slavery is about. And I resist and I say, "No, I don't want to do this" or whatever. At that point, the contract, is no. They can't force
the
you
contract
to.
wouldn't, because if you choose to work for somebody, that's just a job. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody's,
do you think that minors aren't capable of like signing contracts or like
no
making informed decisions?
Children,
what's the cutoff point where they can?
And generally, some studies say you enter adulthood at 20 years old. Sometimes some say older than that.
Wait,
some
so you
say
think
younger.
that
It depends on how your brain develops.
Yeah, it depends on your brain development.
Do you think that like we should have court sessions where we decide based on like brain development whether or not they could consent?
Of course we should. Why shouldn't we?
Yeah,
We shouldn't just set arbitrary numbers. We should need to actually test these things.
Yeah, because not every person becomes an adult at the same age. Some people become adults earlier, and some people become adults later.
She was very mature for her age. I know.
What'd you say?
She was very mature for her age. I know.
That's not the point. If you're trying to make a point like we're enabling
Are you trying to make us? Are you trying to make us seem like we're pedophiles or something? Just if you want to try and make us say it now.
There's a reason why the stereotype exists. All right, I'm just saying.
So do you think I'm a pedophile? Is that your argument?
I don't think you're a pedophile. I think your ideology is quite appealing to pedophiles.
So do you think? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you believe that you should be allowed to like? What do you? Well, okay. Let me ask you. When do you think people become an adult?
18.
Okay, so let's say there's a mentally retarded person that has the mind of like a 9-year-old, but hey, they're 19. Should you be allowed to just have sex with them?
That is actually like a very common problem. I don't think you should actually.
So the solution. Wait. The solution is to say we see how developed people's brains are, and then determine whether they can consent. Not based on some arbitrary.
It isn't just like some arbitrary number. It isn't some arbitrary number like, oh, well, everybody's an adult at 18, because clearly not everyone is an adult at 18.
Okay, should we allow those people to vote then?
We don't believe in
voting in a
democracy.
political system.
No, King. If in a hypothetical, if we
don't believe in democracy.
Okay, Ancap, man.
Assuming
I'm
they're
trying
an
to
adult.
Say, I don't care what you believe in. I'm saying in a hypothetical.
Assuming they're an adult. I'm answering your question. I'm saying assuming they're an adult.
Yeah, but you didn't even allow me to finish my question, so.
I feel like I knew what your question was.
If I couldn't even finish it.
Okay, finish it.
Go ahead.
Okay, in a hypothetical, if there was a voting system, right? Let's say that you would have to be able to concede to these facts. Would you allow those people who were, say, a retard who had a brain of a 9-year-old and he was like 20 years old, right? Would you allow that retard to vote?
I don't think anyone should vote because voting is a crime.
Well, in a system where some people have to vote, then no, don't let people.
I don't think anyone should vote personally.
So they don't have an agent. Is there no agency for them to vote then?
No, I'm saying it's immoral to vote because the state is legitimate.
How about people who actually want to contribute to your society? Do you think that they have a right to vote in the hypothetical?
There is there is another train of logic for Oregon. Why is the state
in the hypothetical, bro?
Okay,
you know what a hypothetical
respectfully, Sather, you had your chance to have a conversation with us.
Yes, we are
I'd
having a
I'd rather have
conversation. I'm
I'd
speaking
rather have a
hypothetically.
respectfully. I'd rather have a conversation with somebody who's actually like mentally capable of having a conversation.
Oh, well, just because you can't speak in a hypothetically, I'm not mentally sound. Sounds like you don't want to be mentally sound, my friend.
Go
You
ahead,
don't
JR.
want me to pick your logic. You just want to be a dum dum. That's what
Okay.
you want to do.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Who
we can.
sound like a dum dum? Who sound like dum dum?
Dum dum.
Not
Sounds like
answer
King.
your
King
question.
sounds like he dum dum.
All right, there we go. So go ahead, JR. Took me a second.
Why is the state illegitimate? That was the question I asked before.
Because they're criminal.
Why are they criminal?
Well,
Because they steal.
Why do they steal? What have they stolen?
Taxation.
Dude, is that the JR East? Holy
And
shit,
when?
holy shit, holy shit. One time I rode the JR East from...
That's crazy.
Wow, thank you for interrupting our conversation. Wow, you're so cool.
My bad. I was just really excited.
Go ahead, JR.
Yeah. One time I rode that shit from Ichioji all the way
Okay,
to
please
like...
stop talking.
Can you please shut the fuck up?
Yeah, so totally.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I'm a big fan though.
How okay, but like what's wrong with taxation? That's just like paying rent to live in the
State is not the owner of the
Yeah.
Why are they not the owner of the land?
They stole it.
From who?
Whoever owned it before, or they bought it with money that they stole.
Do you support
Like in America, they
support,
stole it.
land
A lot
back?
of it was stolen from it.
Do you support like land back? Do you think that like the native Indians should like get the
Or they bought it from people whom they stole money, or they bought it with money whom they stole from other people.
Well, yeah, that's not their problem. How? You don't
Because they
think
got
that
robbed.
you
So wait, so now you're admitting they got robbed?
No. Do you think that like if you live on the Louisiana Purchase, which the U.S. bought, do you think
That was bought using taxes, right?
Yeah, because
taxation is theft.
Legitimate profit because they're
Hold on,
paying
the
rent
state
to live
forced
in the country.
state
Not the
forced
same
people
as
to pay
paying
for
rent.
the Louisiana Purchase.
No,
Taxes.
they could leave. They could leave whenever they want.
Doesn't
to.
matter.
They're not the
Even leave
owner of the
United
land.
States.
Why are we granting that taxation as theft?
Because they're not the owner of the land. They didn't buy it with their own money. Stole the money,
yeah,
and
but
then they bought it.
You're involved in the social contract. They didn't steal it from you.
Social
You're
contract
involved
I never
is not
signed a
real.
contract.
Well, yeah, but you consented to the contract by living in society.
We do not consent. Us anarchists do not consent to that.
I don't consider.
Well, then go somewhere
I don't
else.
consider it to be
It
legitimate.
doesn't. No.
Let me ask you a
Not
question.
about
Hold on,
not
let
about
me ask
going
you guys a
somewhere else.
question real quick. So let's say I come up, you own a house, so you're an owner of a house, and a robber comes into your house and pulls a gun in your house and kicks you out, and you go to your neighbor and you go, "Oh my God, I just got robbed," and he goes, "Well, if you don't want to get robbed, why don't you just leave?"
No. The difference
Yeah,
here is
but
that
that's like a
robber
totally
always
false
owned that land.
equivalency.
He was
It
just
is. It's
letting
not
you
a
not a
false
false-
equivalent.
exactly
It's more.
The state owns all the land.
If you don't like,
the US
no, they
all of
don't.
the land of the United States.
No, they
Yeah, they
don't.
do. They do.
They stole it.
You said that.
No,
How
they
did they-
don't. No,
how
I
did they
did
steal it?
not.
They always owned it.
They bought it with money that they stole.
They illegitimately control it and claim to own it.
Just because you buy something does not mean you're the owner of that.
Hold
thing.
on.
If
Wait.
you stole that
Do we
money,
know? We can just look at the history of America. Do we know what happened to the Native Americans who did reside on land?
even with the Louisiana Purchase, that was money that was stolen
Oh.
from the state. I mean, from
Hold on, wait.
individuals under the state.
It was profit. They bought it through their hard work as a profitable enterprise.
No. That's not true. In
Hold on,
fact,
wait. Didn't the French own the land before the U.S.?
What happened was
Or
they
claimed to
bought
own
the
it?
land, and
the
they, in
US.
fact, the country went into debt in order to pay for that land, and they over time they funded it through taxation, which is theft.
because the people paid rent to live in the country.
They're not the owner
They
of
could
that
leave.
land. They
could
bought it
leave.
with land that they robbed. Okay, and you could and somebody came up to your house, you could leave.
No. Yeah, in your lifetime, the United States has always owned the soil that you stand on.
No, they
Right
never
now.
owned it.
Yeah, they did.
No,
own
they
it.
don't.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do.
unless if we're using
What
Okay,
did they
so
do?
does the robber own your house now? because they
It's like
stole it.
if we're using like a totally fake and gay word definition of owned, then I guess they don't own it. But if we're using any
agree.
definition of owned that has a meaning, then they do own it because they control it
Being a
totally.
possessor, being
It's
a
been theirs
possessor does not
forever.
make you an owner.
Well, they've controlled it forever.
They're in
Like pretty
possession
much,
of
they've
it,
controlled it for 200
but
years.
they're not the owner.
Okay, well then, what does ownership mean?
How
to
did they
you?
acquire?
Ownership is the
We need
rightful
to answer.
having the
How
right
did
to
they
control the
acquire
scarce
the
resource.
What does rightful mean to you?
It's an action that ought not be impeded.
But what does that actually mean? Like what does ought not mean? What
That should not
ought
mean.
not? Yeah, what it should. Where are we getting this like divine right?
You don't know
to
what
land?
should
Where's
means?
that-
How about this?
where-
You go leave the call, go on the dictionary, look up the definitions of these words, and then come
Okay,
back.
dude.
Okay.
We're
And then
we're
rejoin the
we're
conversation
low,
when
we're
you're
low,
when
we're
you
low IQ,
understand
we're low
how
IQ
words
coding.
work. So
Like
JR,
you
the
don't
reason why it's
you
theft
can't
is
provide
because
it.
the
And you can't
state
provide.
forcefully
This is the
extract.
problem.
Hold on
This is the
one
problem with
second.
these guys. You can't provide a definition for ownership.
Yes, we can.
Just give me
Yeah,
one sec.
you said ownership is when you don't impede it or don't impede the possession of it or
You
something to
weren't
that
listening.
effect.
That's
Okay.
fine though. Okay, so
I like that guy.
I don't. He was annoying. So obviously, the Louisiana Purchase was using bought stolen funds.
How was it stolen?
Okay,
You
so
pay
did
rent to live in.
the people who paid, where they asked, and then they said, "Yeah, here you go," or where they said, "Hey, if you don't pay, we're gonna."
You can always leave.
No, that's not what I
That
asked.
doesn't. That's
not what I
irrelevant.
asked you.
Yeah, they were threatened, but they
Okay.
can
So
leave.
if somebody threatens you, if I pull up to you and I say, "Hey, give me your money, or I will shoot you," and you give it to me, does that make me the owner of that thing?
If you're trespassing on their property, then yeah.
Hold on.
Oh wait, but the state is not the owner of that property.
Actually, hold on. Do you think that it's okay to if someone trespasses on your property, do you think it's
So I
okay
didn't
to
get a
pick up
question. I
them?
didn't get an answer to my question.
What was the question? Sorry.
I come up to you, I pull up a gun, and I say, "Give me your phone," and you say, "All right, here's my phone. Don't shoot me." Am I now the owner of your phone?
We've already been
Yes.
over this.
Yes.
Yes.
How? So if I came up to you and I robbed your phone, you would say, "Well, I guess this guy's the owner now. Whatever. That's okay."
But
In an objective
if
sense, I
we
mean, if there's nothing I can do
No,
about
in an
it, then I
objective
guess they
sense,
own
they
it.
are the
we can
possessor.
No,
prove
they're
that
possessing your phone without your permission. I highly doubt that you guys would say, I don't know you guys personally, but I'm just making a guess here. I'm just making an assumption here. I would assume that if I ran up to you guys and I snatched your phone out of your hand, you guys would not say, "Oh, well, that's okay." I'm pretty sure you guys would say, "Oh my God, that guy just took my fucking phone without my permission." Am I wrong in that assumption?
Yeah.
I am wrong in that assumption. So you would say, "Hey,
No,
take
no,
my
no,
phone."
no, no, no.
ownership
No, no, no,
is
no,
the
no,
act
no, 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 I
of
didn't say
having
that.
and
Okay, so
controlling
you were trying to say
property.
that I am right in that assumption. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
The
yes,
Okay.
definition
So
of
obviously,
ownership
if the
is
state comes
the
up to
act
you,
of having and controlling property.
so if the state comes up to you and says, "We are going to take your money, give me your money. If not, we are going to throw you in a cage." That does not make that money the state's money, right?
Own. Verb.
Until the government tells
1.
you that you're not the
To
owner,
have
you are the owner.
something as one's own. To
So if you
possess.
robbed me and the
Possessor
government
and
says
owner are
nothing,
No.
synonyms.
That's not a good
Obviously,
definition.
you disagree that
you are the
ownership and
owner.
possession are the same thing, right? They're not the same thing.
Yes, they're not the same
I
thing.
actually don't.
Okay, so if I came up to you and I snatched your phone out of your hand and I ran off, am I the owner of your phone or am I the possessor of your phone?
If you can prove that you are the
I've
Hold on,
never
owner
heard
agreed.
anyone
by
have.
lying,
I actually have never heard anyone say this
The
before. There's a
definition of
distinction
Hold on,
between
hold on,
an
hold on,
owner
hold on.
and a
Obviously,
possessor.
there's a
The
distinction
definition.
between ownership and possession. So, possessing just
How?
means that I am holding that thing, or it's in my vicinity, right? For instance, I am in possession of my phone, but I am also the owner of my phone, which means I have the rightful, I am the rightful control over it. I have the right to control it. That's what ownership is. So that's how I
Why do you have
define
the right to
ownership.
control it?
Well, because I bought it.
If your
Why does
property is
your
out of your
why does that mean
possession,
anything?
No. Listen to me. So your phone is yours, right?
Are you a moral
Until the
realist?
government tells
No.
that you're
No,
not
we're
the
not.
owner.
Then why? Then obviously this is all arbitrary, is it not?
Yeah, but
It's
you
not
agree with
arbitrary.
me.
But you're not a moral realist. You're a moral
But you
anti-realist.
agree
How is
with
any of
me.
this
Hold on, that
arbitrary?
you are too, right? You're a
You're a
moral
moral
subjectivist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're on the same page. So you're not making a point. Unless you're going to
Well,
argue
no,
that you don't believe in
I'm
any morals. Unless you're going to say you don't believe in morals.
well, no, I have a different moral system to
Okay,
you.
so then, I get that. So that's why I'm asking you questions to see where we align and where we disagree, and then we figure out why we disagree, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to say my beliefs are objective and yours are not. I've never said that in this conversation.
Well, no, but libertarians tend to like preach
Yes,
under
there
the
are.
context that
Yes, you
other
are right. There
objective.
are
You can't group
libertarians
us
that
into all
say.
libertarians, though. Don't do that.
Yeah, there are libertarians that do say that their beliefs are objective and they use things like argumentation ethics, stuff like that. But I'm not making that argument.
Right.
Yeah. So there are some that do, but we're not making that argument. And I don't and Cameron, I don't think he's making that argument.
No,
Right now,
I'm not. I'm not.
we believe in the libertarian ethic because we agree with it. We think it's right.
Because I think it's justified through reason.
Yeah, we think it's right. I
That's
think it makes
primarily
sense. I don't want my property be stolen from me. So
I don't want to starve on a coconut island, so I disagree with the libertarian.
Okay, you don't have the right. You don't have the
Okay,
right to steal from
so
the
then
coconut.
let's go on the coconut island
Survive.
thing. Why is it
Oh
okay
my
for you
god!
to steal?
I mentioned it once and it got. Oh my.
Well, you want to mention
okay,
it. We
don't
you
have
want
to
to
go
mention it.
into
You
it.
don't have the right to steal
We don't
from
have to
people.
go
I
into
fuck
it
one
if you don't
go.
want to.
Okay, I fuck one go.
We don't have to get into
Don't
it if
bring
we
it
don't
up.
want to.
Then.
But you did bring it
No,
up.
no, we can go there if you want. I'm just
I mean, that kind of relates to the.
you're the owner of this channel. I am a mere visitor.
I mean, listen, bro, it's
wouldn't
a free
violate
form
the NAP.
discussion. I'm not here to fucking tell you what to talk about. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, he's not like a state. He believes in.
I'm not a statist, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that we both have beliefs, right? And I'm just trying to convince you of my beliefs. That's all we're trying to do here. So what I'm trying to say is, right, if the state takes my shit, if they're coming up to me and they're saying, "Hey, you need to give me money, and if you do not give me money, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to shoot you." Well, then to me, that's theft because they're forcing me to give up my shit.
What's wrong with theft? Inherently.
It's wrong. It belongs to me.
How?
It's not justified.
It only belongs to you if the government say
Why?
it belongs
How?
to you.
That's completely
What do you mean
arbitrary.
how?
What do you mean? There are many instances where people
wouldn't
don't
have
actually work for
anything
their property, like inheritance.
if you wouldn't be to the
and you
government.
wouldn't say that that's
Yeah,
bad.
but that's consent. Okay, so we believe there's two ways in which you acquire property: consensual transaction, and then there's homesteading. Homesteading would be doing something with something that is unowned. There's consensual transaction, which is I give you this for this, or I give you this just in general as a gift. So yes, inheritance is perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything wrong.
Yeah, but you didn't work for it. That's your justification for why owning something is.
No. I just told you the justification for what makes you the owner.
For inheritance,
so
it's justified because it's consensual transaction.
It's a
It's
consensual
voluntary.
transaction. That person gave
You have the right to.
the person who worked for it is giving it to you.
Let's say you pay for the
why does
property.
that matter? Hold on. This is kind of unrelated.
They earned
Continue with the
if I work a job,
Why does
right?
that matter?
If I come up to you and I say I'm gonna pay you X amount of dollars for this work, I do the work. I'm entitled to that money, correct?
How? Why?
Okay, so you're meaning to tell me that if you went to a job and you said, "Hey, I want to do this
Wait.
job," and
Wait.
they said, "Nope, I'm not paying you afterwards," you would say, that's okay.
You're entitled to it because there's a contractual obligation on the part of on the side of the other
Well,
party
yeah, they
to pay
agreed,
you.
and you agreed.
Who would
So,
enforce this?
so
Why does this
obviously,
matter?
Who would enforce it?
why
Yeah.
does this matter? Because we believe in
Yeah.
morals. We have morals.
Well,
Do you
Yeah,
not
when
I
it
have
have.
comes to
morals?
Yeah,
like,
your morals, the right morals.
Huh?
Let's say the
Well,
guy don't
I'm
want
a
to pay you. Don't.
utilitarian, so I guess we obviously
hold
have
on. I
different
want to
morals.
answer this guy's question about who would enforce it. This other guy. So when it comes to who would enforce like your property rights, like say you enter into a contract with some employer, you do work for them, and they say, okay, you do this work for us, and we will give you however much money, and however much time or whatever. If they then do not pay you what you're contractually entitled to, you can then bring that to in our ideal system in our anarcho-capitalist system, excuse me.
Private
You could
insurance
go
case,
to like a private court, or maybe you already pay for some private insurance agency, and they say whether it's the court or the agency. Well, if it's like a insurance agency, they'll say, okay, you've been like basically stolen from. They're not giving you what you're owed. Therefore, this can be adjudicated. This can be taken to a private court of arbitration, where this will be decided upon by an arbitrator, and they can examine the evidence, examine the case, and determine whether you are whether your claim is correct, whether you are owed what you claim you are owed, and then it can be resolved in that manner.
but
How would they
anyways,
resolve? How it
but
will be
JR, you
resolved?
agree with me, bro? Because in the end of the
Hold
day,
on.
if
What
I
what
came up to you
what
and
can they do?
huh? I was just gonna say
So
that fundamentally,
let's
JR, you
say
agree with me.
the guy after I prove that he wants me money, they still
Hello?
don't pay me. What
Wait,
can
say it
this
again.
private
Hold on,
system do?
I only got a little bit of time left, so I just want to make my last point
Oh,
before I start to head out. So
okay.
JR, I just want to say that fundamentally, you would have to agree with me on. You went and worked on a job, and they said I'm going to pay you this amount of dollars an hour, and you worked there 8 hours. You would expect to get paid at the end of that, right?
I would be pissed if they didn't, but
Why?
yeah. Because if I don't have any money, then like that like makes me like
Or
worse off,
So it has
which
nothing
are
to
you
do
not
with
would be the same.
entitled
it
to the
has
money?
nothing to do with the fact that you agreed to. Is that what you're saying?
Um,
So
no.
I went to
No.
this private service and
So
told them
if it would have been okay for
my
them to regale
employee
on the
they can
agreement,
pay me,
so long as you had money to eat.
Um,
and the
well,
employee
to
still don't pay me.
I mean, it's
What
probably
what would
the
this service
consequences in the
do?
long run of
Hold
this
on,
is
hold on. Let
pretty
JR and
pretty strong
Sithis
up.
go through.
Um, the problem is that in the long run though, however, a system in which contract laws aren't followed would mean that everyone would be just not following their contracts, which would make a lot of people worse off and suffer. So we should keep contract law. But ultimately, the only axiom I'm maximizing is the absence of suffering.
So basically, what you're saying is that you justify everything based on utility.
Yes, precisely.
So
That's
let's say that
pretty
there's
crisp.
a beautiful utopia, and this utopia is going to collapse unless body goes. There's like a weird satanic ritual nobody really knows about, but not done. The the utopia will collapse. and the weird satanic ritual, if not done, it will collapse, and it entails somebody having to rape a dog.
Oh
Do you
my
think
god.
How
that
big is
somebody?
the society?
Do you
How
think
big is
that's?
this
Oh,
utopia? If
Oh my
there's 7
I mean,
billion
how
god.
people.
does it? How big would it need to be for it to make it?
Ah,
I wouldn't be able to give you a specific number.
It's
Maybe
it's
about
I
like
mean,
you
let's
couldn't
say
because
there's
it's
like a
completely
lot of
arbitrary.
people, millions of people on this, and somebody needs to rape that dog, and nobody wants to rape the dog. So should somebody be forced to rape the dog to keep?
ah,
um.
what the hell are you talking
Assuming this
about?
like utopia is like a large country, yeah.
What if it was a person that had to be raped?
A
Oh
person?
my
Why
god.
would that make it any different?
So it
You
would.
don't think there'll be a difference if it's a person rather than a dog being
So
raped?
it basically what you're saying is it would be okay to rape a person to keep.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
rape isn't
Yeah. Okay.
always.
So
So from your
that's
perspective,
fun.
like rape, murder is not necessarily wrong. Because you're violating someone's rights.
Do you
It's only
support like
wrong
do you
because like
support like the
individually,
murder of
generally,
like heads of
it
state?
causes less utility. You don't have a
Do you
moral.
support the murder of like heads of states? Because I know you hate states, right? Would you care if like someone murdered a head of state?
Um, it
I
it
don't.
it,
I
it,
don't.
it depends on
I don't think you
whether.
should murder people.
You have to
No,
build
I
an
don't believe in vigilante
utopia,
justice. So
some weird fantasy to justify rape. Please don't do that.
hold on, it's
That's
No,
just
we're
wrong.
hold on. It's
showing
just
the
a
It's not
absurdity
hypothetical.
in
It's
gonna
just a
JR's
ever
hypothetical.
system.
happen.
A
We're showing
hypothetical.
how JR's ethic
It's
is
just
not.
seeing how far he's willing to take his ethic. I don't think he. I don't.
Look, I'm willing to take my ethic pretty far.
You
It's
could
just
use
it's very
cannibalism.
convenient that in the
Cannibalism.
it's hold on. It
Let him
is
finish.
very convenient then that in the real world there isn't a satanic ritual where you need to rape a dog. Like
No, that's not the
sure,
point. That's
in a
not the
specific
point.
But wait a minute. We do
hang on,
justify
hang on.
some
In a
pretty fucked
specific
up things that the state does, right?
Yes, we do.
I know taxation is like evil. I know.
Well, I know not just taxation, but conscription too.
Oh no, conscription is fucked. Don't get
War.
Okay,
No,
but
conscription's
the
fucked, but
state,
not taxation.
the state has justified killing and sending millions of people off to die based off of utility. Like, oh, if we hadn't bombed, people make the argument like, oh, if we hadn't bombed Hiroshima in Japan, we didn't kill all those people, then there would have been this more amount of people dead. So us
We didn't
conscripting.
need to. We didn't need to. We probably didn't need to bomb Hiroshima. However, we
Yes.
probably did need to send some people to die to like stop
We
the
sure
spread of
didn't need
fascism
to bomb
throughout.
So
Hiroshima.
these
Japan, Asia, and
hypotheticals
Europe.
aren't like extremes. There are situations in real life where we do like weigh
Yeah, and we should
death,
have. We should.
like millions of
We should
people's
have fought against the
lives, right?
Nazis because the Nazis were bad.
Yeah, but I don't think people should have
We
been forced to. That's my thing.
unfortunately there weren't. Unfortunately, we had to.
So you believe in slavery in some cases?
Like slavery isn't always wrong. It really just depends if there's like a bigger
my
force.
God.
The utility is better to do so than not to.
What the fuck, bro?
See, that's the thing, because that's why the thing is, like, my example is I don't think it's really that extreme, because there are situations where it does justify. Where my example only was talking about one person, right? Whereas, like,
I'm pretty
in
sure
real life,
less than
the
1
state
million
does
people
murder
died
millions
in
of people.
Americans died in World War II.
Huh?
What'd you say?
I'm pretty sure like only about 400,000 Americans died in
Yeah,
World War II.
Only 400,000. Oh,
No, you said
cares? It wasn't that many.
hold on. You said millions. You did say millions. I'm just
okay, but I
Oh,
guess I was
being a
counting
smart.
like all the millions of
doesn't
people
really
who
matter, to
died
be
in the
honest,
war.
so.
I maybe in general. I was just talking about Americans.
Hold on. The problem is that if they hadn't have conscripted people to World War II, like, then we would be ruled by the Nazis right now.
That
We
doesn't.
would be
Okay,
speaking
one, I
German.
don't think that's
There's
necessarily
ways
true. Two, it doesn't matter.
we could have fought the Nazis without, like, there are ways to win wars without that way. You don't have to do it. Also, just because they could have won does not make it okay. So, from my perspective.
Yeah. Like how it doesn't make
Do
it
you not
okay
think the
to rape
Nazis
people.
were bad?
Like, so for instance, in the situation where like the dog raped the dog situation, like I would still say you should not be
You
fucking
could have
forced to
used
rape a dog
cannibalism instead
What
of
if
raping
what
dogs.
if
keep the utopia
what
alive.
if what if okay, I have another question. What if you had to rape one dog, and if you raped the dog, then someone joined and then left as I was saying that. That's very funny.
Probably.
Raping
That happens
dogs.
sometimes.
Yeah, and once if you rape this dog, and then instantaneously the entire world becomes Ancapistan. But if you
No.
don't, then the entire world is
Nope.
like ruled by the state.
Not raping the dog.
I mean, I don't think someone should be forced to rape the dog in order to make Ancapistan.
Wait, so if you were
I
willing to
think the
rape
world
the
should
dog, then
end
it would.
if we
I mean, if I'm
have
willing,
to
then I'm
take
willing.
it
But
back,
if I'm
but
not
in a
willing,
law.
then I don't.
Wait, so you think
then I
that the-
don't think I
you
should be
think-
forced. No.
Wait, you think bestiality
Obviously,
is
I'm not
fine?
will. Huh?
You
Animals
think
don't have
bestiality
rights.
is fine?
Animals don't have rights.
Oh my god.
Why do you? Why are you
Okay,
vegan?
so
Animals
this
do
is
have rights.
okay. Hang on. Get
I mean,
back
I would
up
say
a
animals
Wait,
have the right to not be
you're
raped, to be
vegan?
honest.
Oh, I was.
No, I'm not vegan.
So then you don't believe animals have rights.
Hold on. Look,
No, animals
you will
have
like
rights.
you will like scold me for like
I agree.
thinking it's like permissible to do like fucked up shit, but then you think like actually bestiality is fine.
No.
So like it's
I wasn't talking about somebody being allowed to rape a dog. If somebody wants to rape their
Please
fucking
listen to
dog,
me,
as long
please,
as it's
please
their
listen to me.
dog, I don't care. I was talking about someone being forced to rape a dog. I was saying in that situation,
I
someone's
know,
being forced
I
to
know you
rape the
think
dog.
that,
I don't think
but-
someone should be
but
forced
it's
to rape a
like-
dog.
It's like it's like
KingSithis.
we're
Please
very
listen to me.
repellent.
I mean,
We're
that is,
very
listen.
repellent.
So long as you're the owner of the dog, I don't care what the fuck you do with it, bro. I mean, I think it's disgusting. I think
God.
people are fucked if they do that, but
You're fucking
fundamentally,
disgusting.
you're not violating anyone's rights. Animals don't have rights.
Like you're gonna, it's just weird that like you'll scold me for saying actually, it's wrong for
Yes,
me
I
to,
think
like,
it's crazy
make
that
someone
you think
rape
it's
the
okay
world.
to force someone
But
to
then
rape a dog. Yes.
But then you'll just say like, oh, actually, raping.
I
dogs
don't
is
think
fine.
someone should be forced to rape a dog. Yes.
No, I know, but like you think
be.
that if you want to, you can. So like, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a fair point.
So you're a vegan?
No, I'm not vegan, but like,
So
do
do you think it's
that,
okay to kill animals?
Hold on. There's an apt analogy for this, and
Oh my
I'd
God,
like
go.
for you to go down it. All right.
Well, I just want a quick
Do
yes or
you
no. Do you
think-
think it's okay to kill animals?
In an ideal world, yes. Unfortunately,
Okay.
we live in the
What do you
real
think is
world
worse? What do you think is worse? Rape or murder?
where a lot of people would say rape, but I will actually have to say murder because, like, to believe the latter would require you to literally.
So
like,
you
look
could
at
murder a
rape victim and
dog,
say, like,
but if you rape a dog, whoa.
It depends on. I would say it depends on exactly what you do.
You're fucking sick.
there's no the difference is, and the reason why we are often more okay with permitting murder than rape is because there's no there is
Oh, well,
there
you
are
understand
zero
the like
there are zero
inconsistency, right?
instances there are zero instances in real life where raping serves any positive utility, but murder, that's not necessarily the case.
What do you mean? It doesn't what do you mean it doesn't rape doesn't give people positive utility? People,
doesn't.
there's a reason
my
why
God.
people rape. People rape for a reason. They enjoy
They
doing the
rape-
action,
For
no
which
matter how
reason?
fucked up it is. So it's utility to the person that's doing it. Clearly.
Oh my God.
So it's serving a purpose. As
Your
no matter
Honor,
how
it wasn't
fucked
a
up it
hate
is.
crime if I enjoyed doing it.
I mean,
Which
yeah,
purpose?
you eat meat. And the only reason why you eat is because you want to live. It's not a need, it's a want. there's no difference between a need and a want, because you say, oh, well, food is a need,
Oh my
but the
god.
only reason why you need food is because you want to live. So that's a want.
Do you think that people have a right to live?
I believe that people have the right to not be killed.
But you don't think that people have a right to live?
If
What do you
you
mean
living
by? It
requires you to
depends on
violate
what you
someone
mean
else's
by
rights,
that.
then
It
no.
depends on what you mean by
I
that.
think that society should be set up in such a way where a few people die as possible.
So the
If you
ends
have to rape
justify the
someone to live, you don't have
means.
a right to
All
live.
right, you know what, bro? I'm gonna give you the last word. Go ahead, and I'm gonna head out.
Oh god. Like, this may sound insane to you, but like, I would actually like rather pay a little bit of I would actually rather give the guy my coconuts,
Well,
because
you would
half
rather
of the
steal the
coconuts.
coconut.
Yes, I would rather steal the coconut, because who's the fuck's gonna stop me? Like, if that guy objects, I can fight him and I'll win because he's weak and
So
'cause
you're
he's
gonna
needs
steal his property and then fight him and potentially kill him over it. Interesting.
I wouldn't no, I don't believe in the death penalty. I'll
What you're
knock him
saying is,
out.
I am
I
not
never
sucking
said
this guy's
you
dick.
intended to
I
kill
am
him.
taking
You
those
would kill him.
coconuts.
Yeah, because I mean, if he's not gonna cooperate, like, we can both live if like he's willing to share, but like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, he doesn't have to
Anyways,
share though.
it was a good conversation with you guys. I'm gonna head out, man. So,
All
have a
right,
good night,
bye.
guys.
Goodbye, King.
Yeah.